right, Epi 3 of this experiment of the Dumb Zone Weekly Wrap-Up, where you can either catch up on some things you missed, or maybe you just want the Dumb Zone for the second time around. The Dumb Zone Reload? I don't know. You know the drill. This will flow like a normal show. Open, sports, news, today in history, plus some things I want to make sure you caught from the week. It feels weird teasing what's coming up because this is a podcast and you can just see in the show notes what's coming up. And we aren't measured by how long you listen anymore, but it's like muscle memory to tell you what's coming up. But I don't really know what else to do here, but let's adjust. We must grow, right? So I'll tell you what we've got planned for the show coming up. Next week, Jake will be on Last Call with Steve Noviello, and I think he'll provide a couple show Easter eggs for you, so keep an eye out for that. We have Charles Haley on the show on Tuesday. Don't make that face. This is Charles Haley on an unfiltered medium. It will be good. And then Brandon Aubrey stops by our new studio on Thursday to check out the new digs and check in before training camp, which, again, the Dumb Zone is packing up in an RV and heading west beginning on August 4th. If you're somewhere between Grapevine and Los Angeles and want to meet up along the way, hit us up, thedumbzone@gmail.com. Dan has put out the call for a private jet to take him and only him to California. But honestly, it would be way funnier if he was the only one on the RV, so email me with your offer of a private jet or maybe just some airline points. Well, you know, however you can get us to California, Blake at nopuppetproductions.com. All right, that's probably it for now. Let's kick off this thing with an extended weekend check over the July 4th holiday. And dudes around the age of 30 or 40, stay tuned because I've got some advice for you towards the end of this weekend check. Here's our open from our Monday, July 8th episode with 690's Ty and former lesbian Kara.
Been a long time since I've seen you guys. Great to see you.
You too, man.
We haven't done a program in a while. Today we broadcast live to tape from high atop my garage on Monday, July 8th. Had an extended July 4th weekend. This is show number 196 of The New Way. That's really all I got.
Okay.
We also have a 690 sit-in. We have 2 people here today. Let me read the email I got. I got this email back in May.
That was a long time ago.
We're booked, man.
Dan! Exclamation point.
Mm-hmm.
That caught my...
Yeah, sure.
Comma, I might have just deleted this thing, but this was an exclamation point. Please let me know the scoop on what to do, how to arrange getting you guys the 690 for me and my husband to come to the den in May for his 50th birthday.
Wow.
Was this sent in May?
May or April.
Okay, so you went ahead of time.
Yes.
And this is the first time we could slide you in? Or
Well,
Blake?
we initially, I think, scheduled for May, and then we had some stupid kid event come up, so we had to reschedule.
You have a stupid kid.
We have a couple stupid kids.
Yeah. The last time I emailed you was probably 4 years ago. I was the ticket's favorite lesbian.
I was going to say, I have some questions here.
Wait a second. Huh. What?
So you might be a bit confused by the term, my husband.
Yeah.
Also, you said I was hot on the air.
Damn sure did.
We shall discuss in the den. We want to support you guys. Can't think of a better way to do it selfishly by getting on the show while we throw money at your court cost. Ty Webb 3000 on Twitter.
Go.
She actually wrote X, but I still say Twitter. I
Formally.
believe they've smoked cigarettes together at some point before. Big shocker.
That's true.
From Kara.
That's me. Shasta Tamp.
Do you want the last name thrown in there or no? Just Kara?
Kara's good.
Kara, the lesbian who has a
husband.
a male husband.
It's a totally normal thing.
Although he may have transitioned to this.
Maybe he's the lesbian.
That's for the fan to decide.
Okay.
I know her as a lesbian, so I don't.
Same.
I'm confused as to what exactly is happening here, but I love it. I do love it.
I believe I do know I've interacted with you. Maybe it was like behind the Bomb Factor or somewhere like that. Like it was like I just saw you out smoking cigarettes.
Me?
No?
Smoking cigarettes?
Am I wrong?
That's not me.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I might have been smoking something, but it wasn't cigarettes.
Okay. Anyway.
Meth, probably.
No.
So you
What?
you used to be known as the hot lesbian or just a lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
And
Probably takes you from like a 9 to a 7, though, right?
If she's no longer a lesbian,
Let's be honest.
Was she lesbian hot, or was she just
Let's be honest.
hot out in the world?
It doesn't hurt.
Wait, so I was a 9 as a lesbian, and now
I mean, I'm just saying.
a 7.
I mean,
That's his opinion.
You all know what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
nobody's disagreeing with me, including the subject.
What about husband Ty?
That's a good-looking man right there.
Yeah, no, but
I've said
I mean,
that many times.
was she a little hotter before she decided to give it up to you?
I'm going to save that for the end of the show.
Why'd you go
But
off and
I'm
get
gonna-
married?
But what I'm going to say is that
What a waste of time.
What the hell, dude?
I get this question a lot about how could you have flipped her? And I really think it comes down to one of two options, and you guys can decide. Either I'm so incredibly manly that she just couldn't help herself,
Yeah.
Yes.
or I'm so close to a female, it
Yes.
felt right.
Right.
Either way, I'm good with it.
Familiarity. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Missed you at Grady the other night, Dan.
Grady Spencer?
What a guy.
Yeah.
He gave us a shout-out
He did.
to the confused.
Is this officially the weekend check?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so
That
was
was
that
a big weekend.
Okay, yeah. 5 days we have to cover, right?
Yeah. That was Wednesday nights.
Okay. So you guys both went?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our normal July 4th fireworks spot anyway.
Hearst.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's where my wife's family is from, and she's the one that cares about fireworks. So that's where we went, and yeah, saw Grady. Said in the middle of a new dress. You may have heard this on the international comedy podcast, The Dumb Zone.
Okay, nice.
And it was met with a very, very tepid response.
Like a tumbleweed came flying
Other
through.
than brother of Wired Will.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
responded. That was about it, though.
But in my section, no one really looked up
No.
or seemed to care.
No. It was cool, though.
Yeah,
Good
it was
time.
cool seeing him.
And that's
Played
where you
for a
guys
long time.
Did your firework bit?
No, I went to a friend of mine's house who lives very close to where North Richland Hills does their fireworks. And last year they had big drone show. But apparently the guy who is big drone show firework guy is from North Richland Hills and has priced himself out. Like he was on America's Got Talent with his team.
So
And-
they're back to the basic fireworks?
Yeah, like I guess this guy goes to Vegas or New York or LA or Miami or something, and now we just have.
Let's price ourselves out.
We're trying.
Like you don't
It
want
seems cool.
Kara and Ty in here?
I love Kara and Ty.
What are you saying?
Thank you.
I don't know. Maybe if we found some people that would pay $6,900.
Okay.
Well, this guy's out. He's no longer repping his hometown,
Yeah.
so we were just back to regular fireworks.
Which are fine.
This is fun.
Yeah, what did I do for fireworks night? I didn't do anything.
The third or fourth?
Nah. I did find out on the 4th, it's a great time to go shopping at Central Market. Nobody's there.
Huh.
Yep.
4th
Surprised they're
evening,
open, but
people are barbecuing or doing whatever, cooking out, and that's where I can buy some fish and broccoli to my heart's content. It's great.
yeah.
Kind of zip right around there. Let's see. I'll just tell you guys. You guys probably have better stories than me. So I set up our Airbnb in California. We're officially going,
Nice.
or at least have to pay half of it if we decide not to go.
We're at least on the hook.
Yeah, we're on the hook for that. But it looks like a nice location. I don't know if you guys looked at the
Of course I did.
link that I sent.
I've already looked at multiple menus.
For California already?
Of course.
Okay. Have you looked at the route and do we want to stop in Albuquerque?
Of course.
Our guy Matt emailed us a lengthy email. He's already planning on planning the trip. The guy who's going to drive us
He made a PowerPoint.
made
He
a
did.
PowerPoint. I think Albuquerque looks like the place to stop, but who knows?
Mm-hmm.
We might go nuts.
Did you buy your plane ticket yet?
There could be some on hold.
Shut up.
He's not coming.
You're
on
flying
the
back.
I'm not flying back.
Yes, you are. Are you driving back with us?
No.
Okay, so you're flying somewhere and then you're flying home? You're flying back is the point. We're going to be down one man.
You'll have more space.
How will we even make it home
You know, that's going to be his way out.
without Jake's positivity?
Look, we're going to be down one man on the way home. Let's not overload the RV. Why don't I just meet you guys out there?
We'll see. Went to the barber shop, got the head shave.
Uh-oh.
And
You need to be very careful here.
I just want to say this. It's interesting. You would think if you're a guy who gets his head shaved, if you're a bald, which I am, and nobody here relates to that, but plenty of people listening do. 4 different ladies have shaved my head now, and there is actually a distinct difference in each performance.
Yeah.
And the one I got from Dora this weekend was unbelievable.
I know.
It was so good. She's an artist. Now, had to start 20 minutes late because she was so busy making sure the guy's hair that she was cutting was absolutely perfect.
I know.
I feel like it's like Picasso painting or Mozart painting, I should say.
Right. Music.
Yeah. But barbershop topics. Now, first of all, Dora doesn't talk, so she's great.
Not a word.
That's a plus.
She doesn't say anything until the very end.
Not a word.
Barbershop topics included the Paris Olympics and how they spent $1 billion to clean up that river, the Seine.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of that? That's where I stayed, I think, right on the Seine.
Yeah, I know. It goes through downtown. Yeah.
And apparently it was just very polluted, and it hasn't been cleaned up for centuries. And they spent $1 billion just to clean the Seine so they can have. And I saw something on the news about this as well, where, the people of France are like, $1 billion to clean this up. Is that going to be worth it? Is it even going to be clean in the end? Is it going to be safe? And Macron, is that the guy?
Macron.
The guy who's in charge of France, and then
Married his teacher.
the mayor of Paris as well, both said they would take a swim in the Seine to prove that it was clean.
Okay.
Well, the mayor has since Macron didn't put a date on it. He just kind of said he would and hopes everybody forgets about it. The mayor put a date, and she has since moved it twice, and now it's moved ahead to next week. So I'm going to be following this story to see if the mayor of Paris actually ever swims before, today's Greg Louganis goes in there and gets a parasite in his ear or whatever the hell they're worried about.
So what portion of this did you learn about at the shop? Just the cleanup, or did you learn about the
just that they're talking Paris Olympics and it cost $1 billion. That's
Okay.
all. I didn't learn any of that other stuff. I saw it. But then the other big topic was shark attacks at Corpus Christi, and the consensus is that the hurricane is pushing the sharks closer to us. The ladies were all discussing this with some of their patrons as well, and they've decided that is that's their scientific that's their thesis right now. That
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know that they're wrong.
is that how it works?
I
If
don't
there's a big
know.
hurricane, all the sharks start swimming closer to land.
I know that the thing that we've been talking about is that because they do like these shark tours, right? That they chum water and that the sharks start to associate humans with food. In the past, they have not, right? So like they think boat food,
Okay.
people food, when they have not thought that before. But it's funny because I was making fun of my mom when we were down there at the beach this weekend, and we were talking about like Kristen's half sister's driving up from New Orleans because she's gonna fly out there and go to Disneyland with us. And she's like, "Oh, that's a long way to drive, for a 20-year-old girl by herself. I've just seen so many shows. Danger."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Yeah, well, I mean, don't you think that's a little bit overstated? Like, that's the problem, is that you are seeing these depictions of this." At the same time, I saw 4 shark attacks in one day in Galveston the day we got to the beach, and I was like, I'm not getting in the water.
There was 4 shark attacks there?
In one day, dude. Not in Galveston, but in South Padre. So you're still in the Gulf. They said it was one shark. 4 people in like 5 hours. And one of the lady's legs was not all that attached anymore as they were pulling her out of the water. So I'm making fun of my mom because she's like, overstating the media
right. But
perception of something. But then, I'm looking at the ocean and I'm looking at a video of a shark and I'm like, I'm not getting it. I'm just not going to do that today.
Yeah, that's probably the way to go.
I don't know, man. It feels like it's happening more. Trump be damned. Last shark attacks.
Went to the Lawrence Rosales comedy show Saturday night.
Nice.
Our guy who was in here last week. Good dude. He was at TK's Comedy Club, which is a really weird little venue.
It looks nice.
Very strange.
Yeah.
I did not know what I was walking into.
It almost felt like I was driving by. We were driving up to it, and I thought, am I in the wrong place? Is
Right.
this like an apartment complex? Or no. That's, It's like a high-end eatery / bar / I don't know. He's
Business
like,
jeans?
I went with business shorts.
Did they let you in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no. I mean, there was people dressed way under me.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I went with my wife, my daughter, and her friend.
Oh, cool.
And my daughter and her friend, as we were driving around, because we were looking for a place to eat around there. We ended up eating at Flower Child. Don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I've not.
But apparently there's like 4 or 5 of them in Dallas.
Looks like the lesbian has.
That's right.
Former. Once, always?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ever think about ladies while you're with Ty?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Oh, you were talking to her.
He's thinking of other ladies. Anyway, it was just interesting because these are 2, 20-year-old girls. So they go to college. But they're into some TV shows that each other shares an affinity for. And we drove by this one place, and the daughter's friend says, "Oh, that's funny. That's called Twin Peaks." So they love Twin Peaks.
Okay.
And she didn't know what it was. But my daughter says, "Yeah, they're in the back seat. I'm just eavesdropping." She's like, "Yeah, it's like Hooters." And then they're like, "Oh, that's really funny, really." But it was just interesting to me. I guess when your daughter learns about
restaurants,
and I suppose you're going to have to deal with this, but as your daughter is 4 and precious and all that, and then you're thinking, I don't want her to learn about that at all. And then, then you're like, I don't want her to work there, but maybe, if she's happy, then she's happy.
yeah.
And then my final note from the weekend, I was at Central Market, as I told you.
Okay.
Great time to shop is July 4th, like at
Eve.
5 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I see a guy at Central Market stocking the fruit as I'm over there in the, that's why I go there. The fruit, the produce, the fish, top notch. We go to Kroger for everything else, or Tom Thumb. He looked exactly like Stephen Jones.
Okay.
And I got to thinking, if he was born, same person, the way his mind is and every IQ, if he was born as Jerry's son, would he have would he run the Cowboys someday? Is it all just a matter of circumstance? Like, if Stephen Jones was not born as Jerry's son, but he was born as the guy, this guy may have been poor or something, I don't know, whatever.
Okay.
Regular dude. Would Stephen Jones today, does his skill set actually, would he be stocking Central Market on July 4th?
Doesn't he have a legit degree in engineering or something? Jerry
how
always talks
legit
about
can
that.
it be?
Well,
I mean, you got into school. I mean, he went to Arkansas, right?
I don't know.
So you're probably a legacy admission. So to an extent, I don't know how.
I mean, it's tough to get into Arkansas.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know that the fact that they look similar would have
That triggered that in my head.
would have
I just
triggered
got
that
thinking,
for me or not. But
what if Stephen Jones was just born to this guy's parents with his same IQ, same everything?
stocking shelves at 60 seems like it would suck. There were a couple people that worked at Albertsons with me.
You don't feel great about that.
That were old, and I remember thinking, like, man, not good.
Unless they retired early and they just want something to do.
Yeah, but if you retire early, I feel like you want to do nothing. Like when I see like a 70-year-old lady checking me out at Tom Thumb, scanning the groceries, not like trying to hook up, that makes me sad. That makes me sad.
I don't know. I've always thought that I would do something late in life just to keep active.
Really?
Yeah, I would love to stock
Golf.
groceries. No, because that just pisses you off. There's something therapeutic about restock, at least for me, and I think you too, right?
Man.
Yeah,
Just
dishwasher.
Being
But there's a day
organized.
where I want to do nothing.
being organized. Well, you don't have to do it every day.
Yeah,
just a
that's true.
part-time job. I've always thought about doing that.
So my only other weekend note is I went to the Houston Aquarium on the way to Galveston or Surfside. You ever seen it?
No.
So when you drive by, either of you two, Ty?
No.
Okay, so when you drive down on 45, the freeway goes past the aquarium, and the freeway is like level to, I would say, the middle height of the aquarium. So the parking lot is underneath 45. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Like, you're driving past it. So it's sort of iconic. Like, I've seen it a million times. It's a scam. It's a scam because of this. It's an amusement park. So you pay $16 to get into the aquarium, and then they have like 5 other things that you can pay $5 to $10 more for to add on. The aquarium itself, an hour, tops. Smaller than the Grapevine Mills Aquarium. Definitely smaller than the Dallas Aquarium. But then you can pay for rides, you can pay for the shark feature, you can pay for the...
So once they suck you in,
yes.
your kid is there with you, and I have to go on a ride
And
now.
it's 105 degrees. So everything else is outside. The actual aquarium portion of it sucks. We were done in 50 minutes.
So
And then, so all the rides and everything are outside, obviously.
Yes, and cost more. And I was like, I'm not doing that.
So it's kind of like
We're leaving.
flying Spirit.
So you
Exactly, yeah. No,
you
we
didn't do it?
No.
And did this cause...
No, I mean, actually, it was fortunate because my son, an hour is about all he can handle. Mm-hmm. So it worked out, but, you know, everyone has told me about this Houston Aquarium experience. Like, oh, you got to go, you got to go, you got to go. They have all this cool stuff. They don't. It's like 5 different things that you have to pay for individually, and the aquarium sucks.
Yeah, that checks out for Houston.
Yeah. It sucks.
That's not your only story. You said it took you a while to drive back.
So,
Like you got back last night.
yeah, it took us, we stopped for 30 minutes to eat lunch and 10 minutes to go to the bathroom and get gas, and the overall drive was 7 hours and 50 minutes.
Why? Hurricane?
Yeah, so,
Are people getting out of...
yeah.
Has Ted Cruz flown anywhere? Is that the...
I don't know if he's in Cancun yet or not, but yesterday morning, it started to hit a little bit. You know, you could see the clouds, you could feel the wind, you could feel the pressure. And I would say for 75% of the drive, we drove 35 miles an hour.
Damn.
And
That's frustrating.
And I could
Yeah,
not
man.
see 2 cars in front of me. Like that level of torrential downpour.
Yeah.
And the kid is screaming, I would say, for 5 hours of that.
No iPad?
Nah, I mean...
He's not really that type, is he?
No, and I mean, we didn't have one. My parents drove my daughter home, and she stayed over there last night. They left a little bit later, but yeah, no, I mean, it was fucking brutal, dude.
That sucks. That's stressful.
Yeah. I mean, you can't see.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's you're driving school zone miles per hour on 45 for 4.5, 5 hours.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah, when I drove up to the mountains in Denver and we had to drive through that blizzard, I mean, it takes it out of you because you were just white-knuckled
Yes.
and you're intensely focused for hours.
Yeah.
And so afterwards, you're just drained.
And you're in silence. Like, you want to listen to something funny.
Nobody can talk to you.
You can't. Car's telling you to keep your hands on the steering wheel. I'm like, I am.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. Yeah, it was horrible, dude.
What if you asked her for a Hange on the way? Would she have obliged? Honey, I'm really stressed out here. And you're recording.
Why would I be recording?
I don't know, just for us. For your friends. You got to think of your friends while you're getting a Hange. I try to.
Yeah, I don't. Next time maybe I'll ask. Yeah, maybe next time.
When's the last Hange?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Feels
answer
like
that question.
I feel like that's a thing of the past, but maybe not for everybody.
I'm not doing this.
Come on.
What do you mean? Come on.
People want to know.
Why don't you make them answer?
He used to tell us about what he did with his girlfriends and stuff.
Oh my God! That's all.
Yeah,
he'd walk
that's
in
all
just
I would
bragging
tell- yeah.
every Monday morning.
Yep.
Bro.
I had it from behind.
Ate some pussy.
Whoa. Yeah, man.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, it sucked, but it was actually one other thing. So I'm not like fireworks guy. I don't really know how they work. Like I have like Roman candles and black cats. That's like the extent of my. But now apparently you just like buy a box. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with this, Ty?
No.
You're a country guy.
I am a country guy, but I've never been firework guy.
Like you just buy a box and you just light the fuse, and I guess like all of the fuses are tied together so that they just like sync one to the other. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Cool.
So on Thursday night, July 4th, my stepdad went down there to the beach. My parents' house.
The
is
beach is a good place for fireworks.
Yeah, for sure. And Galveston had theirs going on pretty far away, but you could still see it. And then there was one outside of Surfside, so it's outside of the city limits. We were able to watch both those. And then my stepdad went down there, and he had bought these two boxes, and he just lit one up. And they were like real fireworks. Mm-hmm. And that took about 45 seconds before cops.
Ah,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, he's a former cop, though. Does that buy him any?
That's what I said.
Leeway?
He was like, nah, it doesn't really work that way.
He can't.
But, I mean, the box is already on fire.
Yeah, then what are they going to do?
That's like, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah. Sorry, man. I shouldn't have done that. You're right.
yeah. Shut him down.
So Wednesday night, went to Hearst for fireworks. Got her family together because it's also her birthday on July 4th.
Ah.
She was
So
working, though.
yeah, so she had to meet us out there. But got her family together, tried to make it a big thing for her because she loves fireworks on her birthday. And then the next day, and then talked to Grady after the show. He's really cool. I love Grady.
Good dude.
Played for a couple hours. Like I think,
At least an hour, like 40.
yeah,
Yeah.
out in the heat. But yeah, got a little backstory of how he's the only listener of the podcast in the band.
Yeah, they're very confused by us.
And so when they heard your daughters just ripping them, they were like, why did you do this
Why
again?
would you let him do
Yeah,
this?
but then, yeah, next day, go to McKinney and had more fireworks on July 4th. The kid loves them. As a kid, I hated fireworks because I didn't like loud noises, but he's super into them.
Okay.
So the wife and kid are into them, so that makes me have to be into them as well.
You just wouldn't go. You're fine if you didn't go at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but, I don't know, seeing the excitement from him kind of makes you care about it a little bit.
The whole crowd thing is a beating.
It's,
You
yeah.
know, going to scout out your area, sitting there, waiting, getting out, like all for what? What do we do? What do we all do here?
And I take a little bit of pride in that. I'm trying to find, a decent parking lot, scoping your way out. How close are you to the access road, the
Blake
highway?
is such a dad.
And so,
You'll back in at certain places, perhaps, if you're right next to the.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I found a I pulled up the satellite images on my phone to find a nice little trail that led to the park.
Uh-huh.
And so I parked far enough away in a parking lot with easy out
And then you could walk the trail.
And
Okay.
I walked the trail with the cooler and the chairs. Now, don't call me a hero.
Yeah.
I just think I'm doing what any dad would do, carrying the chairs and the cooler.
But that's scouting mission, though. That's something.
That's something.
That's
yeah.
extra. She doesn't understand what you're going through.
No, they never do. So, yeah, back-to-back nights of fireworks. But her birthday week continued.
Oh, she's...
And I felt like I had to plan some stuff and do stuff for her. And Saturday, we went to the rodeo.
So this goes to Lawrence's bit of guys are romantic,
Yeah.
which didn't go that well when he was on stage.
It hit during my show.
Did he? Because he got a lot of groans from the ladies. And I thought, boy, that's a lot better when you have a room full of guys and you're trying to get on board with But he had some ladies like yelling from the audience, like they were against.
No way.
They were against the romantic bit.
Interesting.
Okay,
Yeah, I played well at our show.
but what'd you do? You went to the rodeo because she likes the rodeo.
I mean, really, you're just trying to plan anything outside of the house. And if I'm being honest, I found a Groupon.
Groupon still kicks?
Groupon slaps. Yeah, I saved
Didn't
a
even know
lot
that
of
was still
saved a
a thing.
lot of money with the Groupon. The rodeo wanted like $300 for all of our tickets. Groupon $120.
Just the two of you or the whole?
No, I took the whole family.
That's not a birthday.
What's the whole family?
It's my side of the family. My parents and my sister, her 3 kids, and her husband.
Jesus, Pete.
And you're right, it was a mistake.
That sounds horrible.
But kid was really into it. Wife was really into it. So we got there, and it's Military Appreciation Night at the rodeo.
That feels like every night at the rodeo.
It does. I
probably
feel
is.
like they
Yeah,
really
was it
are catering to their
Che
audience.
Guevara night?
So
Communist night?
So they've got communist night. So they do the bit where if if you were in the army, stand up, and they run a horse out there. Ladies carrying an army flag. The guys stand up, you clap, whatever. Next one, Marines. Any former Marines, stand up, clap, clap.
Always not former.
They have a special army
That's right.
flag
Yeah.
just for the army.
Yep.
Okay.
Marines have a flag. Then it's the Navy. All former Navy stand up. You kind of get it.
Do not tell me that they asked for those who were in Space Force to stand up.
Next was, let's see. Then it's Air Force.
Uh-huh.
Then it was Coast Guard.
Uh-huh.
Then it was Space Force. And they ran the Space Force flag out there. No one stood up. No one really clapped. But they had the Space Force flag, and it's running around. And
No one stood up. No one. It hasn't been
no
around
one
long
is in the
enough.
Space Force. No, and it was very confusing.
Yeah.
The people that are at the rodeo for Military Appreciation Night don't care about the Space Force.
That's fantastic.
It was pretty great. So then they do their thing. It was the bareback riding first. Then it was the
Hell yeah.
mutton busting. Then they have like some intermissions, and during one of them, they did this thing where they got these 4 ladies out there to dance blindfolded. They removed 3 of them, so you're laughing at the one lady who's dancing blindfolded. They take her blindfold off and tell her the bit or whatever. Then she turns around and her boyfriend is there proposing to her. And I thought, I've seen the ballpark proposal a lot.
The rodeo proposal.
The rodeo proposal.
You got to know your audience, though.
Sure.
She's probably stoked on the rodeo.
Yeah, she's way more into that than she would be a November 21st game against the Orlando Magic.
You're right. I mean,
100%. Yeah.
But is a July
Just-
6th or a July 5th rodeo
yeah.
equivalent of a November 20 or whatever?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so that had me thinking about that a lot. Just
It's unique,
proposed
I
at the
think.
rodeo.
I think it's unique.
Yeah.
But you don't, I mean, that's what you want, right?
Yeah, I guess. And then another proposal happened later in the night, too. So 2 different proposals
See,
at
that
the
would be
rodeo.
That's tough.
If you were going to propose later in the night,
you got to
have
call it
like,
off.
Yeah.
You got to call it off.
Oh, no, there's already a proposal. It'll be like you were the second one.
So,
Yeah.
but both were very pre-produced, obviously. The first with the dancing competition, whatever. The second one, the guy's kid won the mutton busting or whatever, And then, hey, would you like to say anything to your parents or the crowd or whatever? He's like, will you marry my dad? And then she turns around, he's on a knee, and it's like, you can't cancel that.
Yeah.
Like, he's already signed up.
You have to say no right there.
Yeah.
I would like to see the percentage of public like that. Stadium, now rodeo proposals.
What do you give it, like 10 years?
Well, just how does it go with the national average of marriages?
Divorce rates. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But I suppose then it's kind of like your 5-man lineups. Then you have to also look at the ages of the people and all
economics.
That.
Era adjusted.
Yeah.
The rodeo was a lot of fun.
I actually enjoy it quite a bit.
It's so impressive what they're able to do. And not just the cowboys, but the horses, too.
Yeah.
And I'm probably talking on my ass here, but like the Wrangler dudes were really cool. Like whenever they, the steer runs off or whatever, and they got to like lasso them and get them back in there. And then the people that are able to like get them into the cages or whatever. And I know I've sounded like an idiot. Sure. But it was really impressive. It held Brooks' attention all night. It's like a 3.5 hour thing.
Wow.
That is big.
Yeah.
My stepdad used to do that.
Used to do what?
Like
perform in the rodeo?
I don't know, like to the degree that he performed, but I mean, he was definitely a guy who, when my mom first met him, he had one of those blankets in his truck. He knows what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I had a rodeo in our hometown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
There's like a blanket. I don't know how to describe it.
You put it's a saddle blanket.
Yeah.
You put it before you put the saddle on.
Yeah.
Yeah, a really good night of entertainment. So I'm here on the...
You're going thumbs up on the rodeo.
Yeah. Blake here for the rodeo, Mesquite Rodeo.
Yeah, okay.
It's a really, really good night of fun. And then Sunday night, went to Lawrence Rosales. Heard a little bit about your show from Lawrence.
What did he say?
He said that somebody in your crowd yelled "moose her."
No.
I don't think that was my show.
Okay, maybe
I
it was
got
the
an
earlier
email
show?
about that.
Okay. Yeah, a guy yelled "moosing" or something at during Lawrence's show.
Because he does a bit where he talks about doing doggy style or something. Was that him? Did he do that bit with you?
No, I don't think so. He said he tested a lot of new material on us.
Okay.
Last show of the week, I guess.
Man, I wanted to try it so bad this weekend, but that would have required me having sex.
Yeah. Well, that
did not happen.
The bit kind of was...
it did not happen.
You didn't get that little vacation home?
No. Vacation home?
Or wherever? Where were you? Weren't you you were at your mom's place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a vacation home, isn't it? Or is that her home?
Doesn't that scream doggy style to you?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Kind of shh. Got to keep it quiet because her... Yeah.
It's more of a Hange space.
Yeah.
That also would have been news to me. I can't believe that we've made 30 minutes into the week and Dan's already asked me when the last time I got a hand job was.
Well, you never know.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
So, all right. So notice, took wife out for 2 different firework events. Took her to the rodeo. Took her to a comedy club, and I did not moose her.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm laying the groundwork, and I need guys out there to notice what I'm doing. Because I'm just stacking credits for whenever NCAA 25 comes out.
I knew exactly what this was.
So for the next month or so, when I don't see my family, remember? Took you out to 2 fireworks shows?
She won't remember.
Yeah,
remember I got you that really nice card that Brooks colored on?
And I think...
Took you to the rodeo?
I think primarily, this is a free episode, but, paid free either way. People need to, like the Wells Fargo analyst who weighed the Chipotle bowls.
Yeah.
People need to directly pay attention to how the quality of these episodes falls off. The second that game comes out. Because he's going to be tied up for 6 to 8 hours a day.
The weekly wrap-up might not make it.
It might not happen.
When's it drop?
Well, I've got early release.
It's before we go to camp. That's
So
why he's bringing his Xbox.
It's July 16th.
Guys don't usually brag about early release.
They are now.
That's a little sex joke for you. Yeah.
Totally.
Stack those credits, my dudes. We are now 6 days away from the release of NCAA 25. Only 3 days if you got the early release like I did. You don't need any guilt or judgment from your ball and chain. Do something nice for them and the family this weekend so you can have a great weekend next weekend. Work smart, not hard. That's my advice to you. Seggy 2 comes from our Tuesday episode where I was a little deflated hearing Dan had a best shows of all time bit for us. But it got us talking a little television, and it ended up being a fun conversation. Tuesday sewed with 690 Duke on July 9th. You'll never guess what the number one show was.
We have lots of sports, but non-sports today. I did see a compilation, like it's from all the entertainment websites, Entertainment Weekly, just whatever. Did you guys see this about the ranking the best TV shows of all time? So, like, each publication's
Apparently Blake is interested in this topic.
How many times do we have to do this?
Well, I mean, each publication did it, and then this is the composite.
But in March, they had a best of March Madness bracket of greatest TV show of all time. They do this all the time.
But they didn't do a comp.
This is an index.
All these places do their own little bracket, and we ridicule that.
Thanks for participating in the show.
Now I'm just trying to look at what are.
Point your gun at him now.
What are the best TV shows of all time? So I'm going to give you the list from 50 to 1. I was surprised to see, because it's so cliche, The Wire is down at 6. So even when you rank, what was this, 10, it's 6, 10, 12 different websites or publications, The Hollywood Reporter, the things like that, have knocked it down to 6, whereas I believe it was always up there with Breaking Bad. And I would like to say, Breaking Bad has dropped down for me. I've done 2 watches of it, and upon the second go-round, I don't even know if it's going to make top 5. It's fun.
I can't believe we're doing this right now.
Huh.
I
Just
think I'm with
ranking
Blake.
our favorite TV shows?
This is really weird, but I guess I'll participate. The weirdest thing to me about Breaking Bad is it became like a different show. Like the first 2 or 3 seasons, it was like dialogue based and narrative based, and then for the back half of it, it turned into like a freaking Jerry Bruckheimer movie.
That's interesting.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I never thought of it that way. But yeah, the back half, now we're... I have a giant magnet, and it's outside the police precinct, and it's going to erase every...
And there was a lot more violence.
The prison hit.
Yeah.
Where everyone's killed.
At the same time.
And then even the final episode where he makes that turret pop out of his trunk. Like, that's insane.
It's just too fantastical.
It turned into a different show. The reason I love The Wire is because The Wire is the same show from episode 1 to episode 156 or whatever they ended with.
But from a different POV.
But that's the thing.
Yeah. The main character, they say, is Baltimore.
The city. The city doesn't change. The city is the same the whole time. You're just viewing the city through different people's eyes. I mean, I think they said that David Simon said that he could have done 2 or 3 more seasons because it was pretty much the same show. Just
could have just picked something different
perspective. Yeah, I think they were going to do like a Cartel, like a Latino season or something. But
I guess I wanted to bring this up just because, and I appreciate both of you guys just kind of peeing on it.
I am 100% participating in this conversation. So.
But because we were talking Sopranos the other day, and I've gotten some, feedback, some emails like, "Yeah, you guys should do that. Go back. It's an interesting watch." Yeah,
what did that guy?
It's just long.
It's so long.
It would be a good Business Wednesday thing, though. No, okay, never mind. You said yesterday you have plans.
I kind of have plans, but no, I'm willing to branch out for sure. Like, would we want to do? Would we release a different? See, that's just too much, right? We some podcast places are like, oh, I'll release a half-hour podcast on this and a half-hour podcast on that, but isn't that our show content? We just let's just put that.
Yeah.
Once a week, if we're going to break down an old Sopranos or the first 5 of a season, let's just do that in one segment. And
Call it the show.
I'm happy to see Band of Brothers. So I guess I could look at the top 10. Peaky Blinders at 10, which
That's pretty good.
I went 2 seasons, I think. It's very difficult to follow.
It is.
It's a caption show for me.
You need captions for sure.
I'm pretty much caption all the time now.
Are you really?
You've hit that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, like House of Dragon.
Boy, my wife is so captiony.
I mean, I
hate it.
I hate to say it, but
I hate it.
I hate it too. Like I'm there to watch something.
I think
Yeah,
and the thing is that I've heard or I've read a couple different people like in the industry talk about this. They're mixing the audio poorly.
With the too loud, too soft.
Yeah, like the
Like you're in a
background
movie?
noise it overrides the dialogue a lot of times, and then like the mix of the lighting makes it hard for me sometimes to read lips. So yeah, I got to go full-time caption now.
Sherlock at number 9.
What?
I did that.
No way.
What?
It was good, but I don't think I would have said, "Man, that's one of the best series I've ever seen." It's got that Benedict, the guy with the most
Cumberbatch.
English name
Yeah,
that's ever existed.
yeah, that does sound like an English Mad Lib.
You guys won't like number 8,
Lost.
Stranger Things.
Okay.
This list is horseshit.
Jeez, Blake.
I do not see Impractical Jokers on.
Oh,
I think they came in at
solid
51.
volley.
Friends is at number 15. Are you happy with that?
It's pretty good.
Like it's above Seinfeld.
Yeah, as it should be.
Better Call Saul at 7.
Yeah, that's a personal failing.
That you never watched it?
Yeah.
It's strong.
It's good. I don't know that I'd put it that high either.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of his, so
Yeah.
there's no reason why I haven't watched it other than laziness, I suppose.
The Wire's at 6. Number 5, you could watch this because it's a mini-series. Band of Brothers.
I've seen it.
Greatness.
Yeah, you could get that done in a weekend, I think.
Yeah.
It is great. I don't know that you call that a TV series. The Sopranos at number 4. Chernobyl
Had to bail.
at number 3. Why?
Too much, dog.
Like too real?
Yeah.
I guess that means it's a good show.
Yeah, and I think I was able to as I was telling you guys this the other day, I was able to overcome that with the bear a little bit. The bear makes me super, super nervous.
Are you into this season of The Bear? 3?
I'm only one episode in.
Like where they're doing a real high-end restaurant now?
Yeah.
Okay. I've
Well,
been
I
reading
think they
negative
finished
reviews
that-
about that.
The end of season 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
They opened it. But, it makes me nervous, and Chernobyl made me like apoplectically nervous.
I thought
I don't
it
know.
was great.
Everybody's gonna die,
Yeah.
like in any moment. I also thought it was weird they spoke English. I didn't love that.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about the Looming Tower. Like when they tried to make Lawrence Wright's The Looming Tower into an FX show with Jeff Daniels.
What did we recently watch where they were talking English?
Shogun?
Shogun.
Shogun.
Well,
It felt good, but yeah, they were using English for Portuguese.
for Portuguese, that was the part that.
But then English was also English.
Yeah,
And the guy was from England.
yeah,
But
that was confusing.
it would have been very confusing just to watch an entire show, not...
Perhaps.
I guess you wouldn't mind because you're a subtitle guy. You're just reading it anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, when he talks, I don't know. It felt normal for him to speak English.
Game of Thrones at number 2.
Boy, I don't know.
You think that's too high?
I think it's a bit high.
I thought it was more about... Yeah. As far as the story, and I don't know. It became a phenomenon, but I don't... That's the way I feel about Breaking Bad. It became a phenomenon.
Yeah.
It might have been the last real water cooler show of
Yeah.
come in, talk about this show after it aired last night type thing.
That's part of it. That helps build the excitement for the show.
Yeah, but it doesn't then, if you're a critic,
That
stand
shouldn't
the
change your
test of
opinion.
time,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, if you were to watch it in a vacuum, I guess that makes sense. But I remember getting very excited because everyone else was excited. You wanted to be a part of it.
I mean, that's why you would watch it, right? And
I
that's
like the new one.
the new Dragon.
Yeah, the new Dragon. That's correct. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know. I haven't started it. I'm not gonna.
Fair.
And that's where I'm at. All right, so there's your top 10.
He looks like Michael McDonald.
Who? Duke?
Yeah.
That's not bad, right?
Have you heard that before?
No.
So-
I feel like that's awesome.
What was 2? Game of Thrones and
was
Breaking
number
Bad
one?
was 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
These are all really recent shows.
Where's MASH?
Yeah, where's Mad Men?
Oddly enough, The Twilight Zone, the original, is at number 11.
Mad Men?
The Shield is at 45.
Oh,
Looking for some of our favorites. Yes, that could have been way up there. Mad Men, 21.
Where's Lost?
35. A lot of things I've never really heard of.
King of Queens?
The Haunting of Hill House.
King of
69.
Did they not make it?
I wonder where King of Queens would rank on like a top comedy or top cookie cutter comedy shows,
probably pretty high.
right? With
If
wasn't
there,
that like a formula? The
if there was
husband who's
A little bit overweight.
dork,
Yeah.
wife is too hot for him.
if there was a list of top 10 shows that kind of was based on the Moonshiners, I think King of Queens would be one.
The Moonshiners?
Moon
Do you mean the?
Moon Honeymooners? Moonshiners?
That's fun to watch.
Is it the Honeymooners?
I wanted to
Okay.
see how long it would take.
It's Jackie Gleason.
I
Or was
appreciate you.
Frasier?
I appreciate you waving me off.
The Moonshiners.
That was a different.
Is Frasier in the top 50?
Oh yeah,
Season 5 only.
did Frasier?
I doubt. No, I would have noted Frasier. The Bear is in there at number 40. Black Mirror. Boy, that's great.
Had to stop watching that one too.
Why? Oh, it is very real.
Too much.
It feels like it could be around the corner every episode. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I love it.
Another reminder that if you're not subscribed to our Patreon, you do not get our full Tuesday and Friday episodes. Come on, 5 extra hours of content a week for less than $7 a month. Hey, tell a friend. From one Patreon episode to another, let's skip ahead to Friday, when we were joined by Around the Horn's Tim Cowlishaw, who filled us in on the backstory of his book, Drunk on Sports, and his battle with alcohol. This was a really, really cool chat with Tim from our July 12th episode.
I don't really believe podcasts exist. I'm not familiar with podcasts very much. So, this is a very strange world for me
So when
inhabiting.
Robert said,
I know they do, but I'm skeptical.
when Robert said he had contracted us to be out here, you were like, what does that mean?
What does it mean?
I think his words were, I have no idea what they're doing, so I guess I'll show up.
And I ran into Tim at the Big 12 basketball tournament,
Yes.
and he came up to me. He's like, "So what am I doing in July?"
Oh, it was that long ago this has been planned?
This
Yeah.
was months ago. Robert booked this. He needed it, because I'm really hard to book, given that I'm off from the morning news for 8 weeks right now. So,
What a deal.
How about that?
Wow.
Yeah, that's not that great a deal.
Really?
They made me an offer I couldn't refuse 5 years ago.
Did they say
More
you could be
time
off
off.
8 weeks, but we won't pay you during that 8 weeks? Something like that?
Well, it's like that, but worse. I got 6 more weeks of vacation, but I took a haircut, as we say.
Right.
You took a haircut once at the ticket.
Yes.
People take haircuts. People get haircuts. So I took a haircut, but it was fine. So basically I have 12 weeks off during the year.
Dan got his
From
head
the newspaper.
shaved to do the podcast.
Right. Yeah.
did.
Basically, I got a major haircut.
That was, in fact, yeah. the way the lawsuit was going, I thought they might be cutting into you for a while there, like cutting into your scalp. But I guess that went all right.
Yeah, we're still paying for that. It's tough to fight the man.
Yeah.
You can see why people don't do it.
No.
Why they just acquiesce.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Cowlishaw, a man whose life was once spiraling out of control because of the allure of the bottle.
Oh, very dramatic words there.
Has overcome those obstacles.
Yeah.
And he is the man you see before you today.
Do we want
dominating?
Do we want to tell people how to order the book?
Sure. What's the book called? I can't remember. You know what? And I read it. It's great.
You did read it.
It is awesome.
Drunk on Sports.
Drunk on Sports.
Easily available on Amazon.com. Probably at a discounted rate, I would think.
You ever run into it?
Based on what I run into. You
ever go to like half-price books and see your own? Do you look at the shelf just to see?
Did I do that once, maybe?
Like where would Tim be in half-price books? Because they have football, baseball. They have sports, but they don't have
drunk sports writers.
Yeah. Are you somewhere near Sarah Hepela's book?
Somewhere near Cowboy Cheerleader Woman. I mean, that's an odd way to put it, but
yes, but she was also the allure of the bottle.
Yes,
true. Had got her to the bestseller list too. So really, the bottle,
I don't know about 2,
has not been bad.
No,
it's been a little bit lucrative.
Yes. Now, a number of people who like the book, like yourself, have asked me when I'm going to write another one. I said the only way along those lines. I said the only way to write another one is to have a relapse and to crash. And so,
hold that thought. All right, sorry to interrupt you, but
it's okay. Things happen.
That's how we can see the magic of podcasting. That took 1 second.
Okay.
The audience doesn't know that I walked outside and took a phone call.
That's great.
Hey,
maybe these things are going to last. Maybe these things are going to work. Who knew? Where was I? I was in the middle of the book, and I can't do a rewrite because I haven't had a relapse.
Oh, okay.
But here's what needs to be said. I just soared past the 15-year mark. Person on my right, my nephew Robert, soared past the 10-year mark.
All right.
Recently.
Is that hereditary? Is there a biological leaning to?
My father, who's 98, soared past the 30-year mark, 31 year. He was 93. And I had on my mom's side, I had an uncle who died of, he had the big kidney machine and the whole thing out in rural Oklahoma. So, yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm sure it can be, and it probably is. I tend to not be dismissive, but that whole idea that this isn't my fault, that doesn't work for me. That's why I never went to AA.
That's right.
I'm not saying it doesn't work for
a
million people. I'm just saying for me and my mindset that the higher power thing doesn't really compute.
Did you do AA?
For me.
I did not do AA.
Yeah.
I quit cold turkey like Tim. I don't know if it's cold turkey, but running your car through a telephone pole into a tree is maybe like a very,
that's what you did?
Very fast AA in one night.
Okay.
So yeah.
Was that on Windy Hill?
No, that was over off the M streets. You go out for cigarettes and you come back.
So you were in the hospital?
No, just in the car. Car held up, totaled it, but the insides held up well.
Okay,
so
I just
not
thought
a scratch.
Sometimes that would lead you to, hey, I've had a hospital stay. I haven't drank while I'm here.
No,
I'm now out.
The jail stay was the substitute actor for that.
Oh my
recognition. Yes.
What was that scene?
Just a DWI.
And what is that? How long did you have to go to jail?
One night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a light traffic ticket.
Okay. Did you end up getting like a teardrop tattoo or anything, or?
No, like Tim.
What gang did you join?
Waiting for the relapse on that one.
You were smart enough not to do it in Greenville, Texas, where I spent the night with 8 roommates that Friday night, and by the end of the time there, although there wasn't a lot of conversation early, from talking to one of the guards, they knew I wrote for a newspaper, and they were tell people that the room across from here is air conditioned and they don't let us use it. And this is in July. They got everybody just sweating in this room. But
so they weren't asking about the Cowboys off season.
Well, one guy was.
Okay.
One guy was asking about the Cowboys.
There's always one guy that'll recognize you, right?
Doesn't matter. Yeah. What'd you think of their draft? But so I had that, and I had the hospital stay, but that just convinced me to stop driving, not to stop drinking.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So it still took.
It took like falling down. I'm trying to remember the book. I read it a few years ago.
A seizure with Ben and Skin on a different show, on a different network, different station.
Yeah.
And missing my daughter's, his cousins. She was a senior in Capel, and she was giving a speech at some end of the year thing for the Larriettes and stuff, and she really wanted me there, and I couldn't go because I was stupidly laying in a hospital.
Mm.
So that
was the wake up.
Yeah, that was like, it should have been my third wake up. The fractured skull should have told me something from 2 years before, outside the Loon. But so that was the wake up call, and that's why that's not why I didn't go to AA, but that's how I ended up doing it.
And when did you write the book then?
Well, I didn't really think about a book right away. I mean,
right, you're trying to fight through.
I'm trying to go through day one and day two.
Let's get to a year first.
So yeah, so at the end
I
of
would
that
think
summer,
like one of the most difficult things is like going to sleep the first night.
Yeah,
or just even
right, because you're used to drinking every night,
being awake,
even if you're drinking a little.
It's a Rodney Dangerfield line in an old movie. It was like, I don't know how to. Rodney Dangerfield had to clean up. What was the movie? Ah, damn it. I thought you're an old, so you'll remember it as well, like me. But it was like, I don't know how to fall asleep. I only know how to pass out.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you think.
Yeah.
And for the
first, I related to it.
First few nights, you think it's going to be that way, and then eventually it's not. But yeah, so it was a few months into it. So I stopped in May, and then it was July or August. It was in July. The Josh Hamilton thing happened out in Anaheim, where pictures of him surfaced from spring training, drinking with girls in Tempe, Arizona and stuff.
Yeah.
And I wasn't there.
Shirt off.
Yeah, and I wasn't there, but just being here and watching him.
Were you shirt off drinking guy?
I usually kept my shirt on.
Okay.
Maybe the early days, but no, it's been a while. Robert could pull that off.
Yeah.
So just watching how he answered questions and talked about I'd always been impressed by how he did that, but watching how he did it again, I thought, I was only 2 or 3 months into not drinking, so that's a little early, but I thought I want to write about this because I just felt guilty of, like, because I got arrested in Greenville, nobody knew about it.
Yeah. So you knew too.
My name's William Cowlishaw. So it shows up, if it showed up Tim Cowlishaw in a Dallas thing,
right, it would have been a news story.
Reporters would have seen it. Nobody knew. I mean, Hunt County, Texas, William Cowlishaw, and I got away with it.
So on one hand, that's good.
So for the moment, that was good.
But had it become more public, maybe that would have helped you quit earlier.
Possibly.
Yeah.
You would think.
Public shame.
If you have any character at all, you would think that would happen. So, but because I didn't, I just felt, I feel two-faced even talking about, because we're always on around the horn talking about somebody's DUI or somebody's something, and it's like, I feel like I'm living this secret life, and I wanted to get it out there. So I wrote a column about it that, I think it was in August, and I didn't tell the whole story, but I told a lot of it. And just from the reaction to that, I thought maybe if I am successful at this deal, then maybe I can write a book that helps other people.
Yeah, was it like, because you listened to Josh Hamilton?
Yeah,
and that spoke to you, so you're probably thinking, could I speak to somebody?
And it is, and so I wrote it.
Profit.
I mean, let's not overplay the profit here.
Like if someone buys Drunk on Sports right now on Amazon, it's available.
I get $4.
Okay.
So if everybody here would just...
Yeah.
That's like $32 right there. which is about what I got last year, I think. No, I think I got $300. So it doesn't sell. I mean, it's fine. It sold initially, and that was good. But I still, like a month doesn't go by that I don't get either something on Twitter or an email from somebody saying they read the book and it's helped them and this and that. So that, that book's 11 years old now.
So that makes you feel good.
So that's the benefit of having screwed up my life like that.
Yeah.
A quick story about Tim and a touch behind the curtain. Maybe this is where I do some of that stuff. I began working with Tim when Cumulus acquired ESPN in 2013. Those new to the show, I was just an engineer for Cumulus until 2020. So I had to work with some of the other stations Cumulus had, not just the ticket. I obviously knew of Cowlishaw from Around the Horn and the Dallas Morning News, but then I got to know him on these Super Bowl and training camp trips, and I thought, he was really good on ESPN Dallas. We bonded over books and just having a general disdain for other people. So when Cumulus blew up ESPN, I told Dan and Jake that we needed to have him on because, he's obviously great at talking sports, but he's also well-versed in pop culture. He's quick-witted and can naturally just kind of shoot the shit where other people would have a hard time fitting in on the ticket. So we had him on a handful of times and went great, at least I thought. And that was later proved because he was so great that the Muser said, hey, we're going to take Tim for football season now. And that was the end of Tim on our show. But who's got the last laugh now? You can hear Tim on the Dumb Zone anytime you want by listening to our July 12th episode. All right, moving on to some sports. We're going to talk some Mike Gundy and his mullet and his self-admitted drunk driving. But first, have you seen how Bronny's been doing in Summer League? This from our Thursday, July 11th episode from Waxahachie.
The Bronny thing is so weird, man.
He's not very good.
No, I don't think he played a lot at USC, right?
No.
I think he scored 5 points a game.
But he got a 4-year deal.
Guaranteed.
Have you seen the bit where people are alleging that ESPN is in bed with the NBA, which they certainly are, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And that they're even more so in bed with the Lakers, just because that's their machine. They're the Lakers, the Cowboys. So when their Twitter or whatever social media put out after their first summer league game, where I think one of Bronny's teammates, one of the other guys, scored 30, but they put out a picture of Bronny and it said 21, 4, and 2, something like that. And so you just see it. You don't see what 21, 4, and 2 means, but you think, that's a good debut.
Game. Yeah.
Well, it was 21 minutes. When you look at the fine print, 4 points, 2 rebounds.
Okay. Yeah. Per 36, though.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Other sports, Blake?
Yeah, I'd like to play, what do we call Touch the Clip?
What is that?
I think I like it.
Okay.
Is that the one where you take a clip of audio but you expand it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got a clip here of Mike Gundy
Yeah.
at Big 12 Media Days.
Oh, my God.
And
That's right. That's going on in Dallas.
No.
Oh, wait. Not SEC is happening in Dallas. Sorry. Next week.
Big 12 moved to Vegas.
Okay.
It was always at AT&T. It was always downtown Dallas. Now it's in Vegas. Mike Gundy, the head coach of Oklahoma State, he's the guy with the mullet. He's been there forever. He was a man. He was 40, 15 years ago. Go ahead.
I have a problem with how much he's dyeing his hair.
Mike Gundy?
Yeah.
It's very dark.
Okay. I'm going to have to take a look at him.
Do you think I should do that?
Dye your hair?
Your hair is jet black, dude.
10 years from now, it's not going to be.
Are you afraid of graying?
I'm not. I actually
Maybe you have to do it now.
I think it looks cool to be gray.
Didn't Cuban say he
Gundy,
started?
Look it up, dude.
Okay.
He looks suspiciously black-haired. And everyone saw him going gray.
Well, you got millions of dollars, right? What's he make a year?
But he fits Oklahoma State.
Oh, for sure. Look at that.
I mean, that checks out.
Boy, that's a nice mane, though.
He's got great hair.
Look how thick it is. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, his starting running back is Ollie Gordon. He's one of the better running backs in college football. And a week ago, he got pulled over for a DUI.
Okay.
Which led everyone to believe, like, okay, you got to suspend him or, fine him or whatever. You're gonna have to
Discipline.
Yeah, discipline him for something. And
maybe the old he doesn't get to start against.
Which,
you know how college football always does these things.
Yeah.
Was
you gotta sit the first half. Oh,
was it Duke?
It was Manziel.
Yeah. First half. No, it was the first drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
He went out there and threw 75 passes.
So rather than do all that, Gundy's like, well, who among us? So here's the clip from Mike Gundy, Big 12 Media Days. I want to play you the clip.
So this went viral?
Yeah. And then I'm going to play you the full answer, and let's see if this was taken out of context.
So I looked it up on my phone. What would be the legal limit? Like in Oklahoma is .08, and Ollie was .1. So I looked it up, and it was based on body weight. Not to get into the legal side of it, but I thought really two or three.
No, he wasn't .1. He was 1.0. Right?
You'd be dead.
What do you say, .08?
.08 is the legal limit. But .1
is just a little above
that's it. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
1.0 is way above it.
Okay. So
yeah, you'd be dead.
.1.
My bad. That's what I'm saying, though, is...
.1 is slightly above, but that's just in the world of 1 through 10, that's slightly above.
Right.
But in the world of alcohol consumption, it's a lot above, right?
I feel like he's about to... Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to guess of how many beers he had.
Not to get into the legal side of it, but I thought really 2 or 3 beers or 4. I'm not justifying what Ollie did. I'm telling you what decision I made. Well, I thought I've probably done that 1,000 times in my life. And I, it's just fine. So I got lucky. People get lucky. Ollie made a decision that he wished he could have done better. But when I talked to Ollie, I told him, I said, you're lucky you got out light.
So that's going around because Gundy's like, who hasn't had 4 beers and drove? I've done that 1,000 times.
Okay, and is he right? Are we talking about 2 or 3 beers?
Yeah, I mean, look, it is very weird to me that bars are primarily just a business where you can go drink and
drive to them,
drive home, and drive there and drive home. Yeah, I mean, I think if you have 2 or 3 glasses of wine or 2 or 3 beers, you're going to be over .08.
Okay, it does. I
thought he said .01 at first, so that's why I was confused.
.08 requires an average adult male to consume about 4 beers over 2 hours.
And, I mean, let's say that you have 2 in 90 minutes. You might be there.
Okay.
Because it is based on body weight. Or
body weight
tolerance,
and duration.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And somebody's .08 is way different than somebody else's .08.
And also just not the sort of thing that you hear a college football coach just come out and be like,
that's the point.
I mean,
that's
I
the
don't
point. This is at media days.
I've done that 1,000 times.
So are you going to sit Ollie Gordon for a drive? Hell no. I mean, I did it yesterday. No.
And it's funny, too, how he's like, I looked it up.
Yeah, on my phone.
I Googled
well, why did that matter where we were when...
Because there's context here in the full answer of why he looked it up. So yeah, all right. So there was the 43-second clip that everyone heard. Here's the full. It's about 3 minutes. We can stop and start, but here's his full answer on Ollie Gordon.
2 questions. What's his status, and why did you want to bring him today?
So the college football is changing, we all know, and we can say these guys aren't employees, but they're really employees. These guys get paid a lot of money, which is fine. But there needs to be a side to what they do that they have to be able to, for lack of a better term, face the music and own up to things. And when I looked at it,
this is, pause it. Sorry.
Thought, okay,
this is not really relevant to it, but it's just funny how the tone has changed now. Hey, they're employees.
Yeah.
We know they're employees. Like, now that they're making money, we're employees, and we can stop the I'm trying to grow him as a man. We can just be like, look, he's my employee.
Is gone. Yeah,
it's funny how they were kicking and screaming the whole way, and now that it is, it's just like, oh, okay, now we can just do it, and
that's important.
That's what they have been the whole time anyway, but okay.
Yeah, that's important to keep note of because he's going to bring that up a lot. Is he's basically an employee of Oklahoma State.
Be real honest with myself first, and then make the best decision for what I think is good for Ollie, our university, and our team. And then I start thinking about being a parent. I have a 28, I have a 23, and a 19. And first I thought, okay, so I looked it up on my phone. What would be the legal limit? Like in Oklahoma is .08.
So he told you his kids' ages because he does this with them a lot. He doesn't say it in this answer, but on a walk-off, he explains like, boy, my boys drink and drive all the time.
Jeez, yeah. I mean, maybe we want to teach them to not. I mean, isn't that the whole point of these
You're making
laws?
all this money, maybe you just
that
get an
even
Uber.
4 beers can, impair you enough that you're not as... You can drive. You can get away with it.
1,000 times, he said.
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I think even in this answer, he's going to say he got lucky or something.
Yeah.
Like, you end up getting lucky on those times.
Yeah.
Like, the whole point is that is a 2,000-pound...
death machine?
piece of steel that is yes, that you are now in charge of, and especially if you're Mike Gundy or Mike Gundy's kids, you have the means. Mm-hmm. You're making $8 million a year, $6 million a year. I don't know what he makes. I'm sure he's making quite a bit.
He'll get to money.
Enough.
He'll get to money.
But an Uber can happen, and there is the social, and they worried about your wife yelling at you later. But look.
Yeah, she's got to drive you to get your car.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a thing. I mean seriously, dude. I was talking to my daughter last week who was going out at night. It wasn't because of drinking, but she's like had trouble sleeping lately, and she didn't know if she wanted to drive to her friend's house in Keller because she was just worried how tired she'd be coming home. And I'm like, look, if you got to call me, I will go get you, and I won't be upset. I won't tell Mom. That whole thing. She's like, well, Mom will know because my car will be there tomorrow. I'm like, all right, well, look, I'll deal with her.
We can wake up early.
To not, well, I would get up early anyway.
And first I thought, okay, so I looked it up on my phone. What would be the legal limit? Like in Oklahoma is .08, and Ollie was .1. So I looked it up, and it was...
Also, I don't know if that flies. Like, well, he was almost there. I mean,
right. That's what I got to do. The control. So we said .08 is possibly 4 beers in 2 hours. I wonder what .1 is. Go ahead.
I mean, it's probably just one more.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah. I would assume, or a little bit
based
less
on body
time.
weight. Yeah. Not to get into the legal side of it, but I thought really 2 or 3 beers or 4. I'm not justifying what Ollie did. I'm telling you what decision I made. Well, I thought I've probably done that 1,000 times in my life, and I, it's just fine. So I got lucky. People get lucky.
Okay, this is where the clip ends. Okay, so here's some meat they left off.
Ollie made a decision that he wished he could have done better. But when I talked to Ollie, I told him, I said, you're lucky you got out light because you make a lot of money to play football. So back in the day, being able to cover the cost of what he's going to go through would be difficult for a college player. It's not for him.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not speaking for him, but I'm just saying that's not an issue for him. So nobody got hurt.
I found that part a little odd that you're lucky not because you didn't kill anybody, but you're lucky you make so damn much money that you could cover the cost of this DUI.
That's why he's lucky.
Yeah. Back in the day,
who got hurt?
nobody.
That's the thing. That's really the lesson here at the end. Is these meddling cops got in the way.
Yeah.
When no one even got hurt.
But it's much of the same for the next couple minutes. But it's basically like Gundy's point is he wasn't that far over the limit, and thank God he makes this NIL money to cover the cost of it. Because if he would have been around 15 years ago, how would he have paid for it?
That would have come out of the university's pocket.
So oftentimes we play the clip and the full answer kind of gives some added content. No, it just got worse.
Not this time.
Here's the other clip that I wanted to play because people wanted punishment. How are you going to punish him? And his answer was, I'm just going to give him the ball more.
Your punishment's going to be facing the facts. That's why we brought him here today. I said, you're not going into hiding. You're going to face the music. You're going to have to stand up and talk to people and answer questions. And hopefully, more than football, you can learn from the situation you've been in. Because if not, then we have a real issue. But he's going to play. And I'm going to do what we think is best for Oklahoma State football. And I think it's best for Ollie to play. If there's any punishment, it's make him carry the ball 50 times in the first game.
What?
You're not sitting the first half. You're playing every damn snap.
So your punishment...
We're going to feed you the rock and make your draft stock.
Yeah, you're going to have 220 yards.
You're going to be the Heisman favorite after week 1 because you're going to score 6 touchdowns against
you're going to
Southeast
have to,
Oklahoma.
Here's what you have to do, though.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, are you sitting down? Because don't smile. I'm serious here. This is your punishment. First thing we're doing is we're taking you to Vegas. Okay? And then you're going to have to talk when reporters are going to ask you about this, and you're going to have to answer.
Oh, no.
And tell them that you did it and that you're in Vegas. We'll give you a suite. You're going to have a suite.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have, we'll probably slide you some chips, whatever.
And look, you don't have to drive, so have all you want.
Yeah.
You'll be able to drink as much as you want.
Yeah.
4, 5,
but I want you to
whatever.
think about this. Are you thinking?
Yeah.
And yes, and then we might in fact help your draft stock early in the season because we're going to be playing like UNT or just somebody that's not in the league that we're in, and we'll destroy them by 60, and you're going to have to carry it all the time. You have to play the whole game. That's our punishment, not sitting you out of game.
Not suspending you.
You're playing more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And getting more touches.
Dude, that's great.
So there's your update on Big 12 Media Days.
That's awesome.
Gundy's honest. Gotta admit that. Maybe we'll go OK State for an NCAA dynasty. Got the cool jerseys, good stadium. Anyway, want to remind you again about the Dumb Zone Day at the ballpark, as we'll be at the September 19th game versus the Blue Jays, 1:35 first pitch, so take a half day or full day, or hell, take the whole week, do whatever you want. But come watch some baseball with the Dumb Zone. Got some tickets left, as they've given us another allotment of tickets. If you haven't gotten yours yet, check the link in the show notes. And if I forget to post it there between now and then, check the notes from either our Monday or Tuesday episode. I know they're in there. Hope to see you out there. Speaking of baseball, you see that? The All-Star Game will be held at Globe Life, and Dan has some nuggets on the Midsummer Classic headed to Arlington. Here is our All-Star Game talk from our July 9th episode.
Baseball. Where is the Major League Baseball All-Star Game being played this year, Jake?
Here.
That's right. Right here, high atop my garage.
You know, have you ever been to an All-Star Game?
No.
I've never been to a game, but I did go to batting practice in the Home Run Derby in 1996. And do you want to know why I went, Dan?
Go ahead.
Hideo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was so obsessed, dude. Just to see Nomo throw. I was like, we gotta go.
Did he have like a different delivery? I'm trying to remember.
Nomo?
Yeah. Was it
course
really
he did.
weird?
Yeah.
Describe it.
All the way over the back of the head?
Oh, he would just kind of stop.
Yeah, and then he would...
And then do the thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I remember.
Yeah, and like, so getting to see him throw in the outfield and in the bullpen, it was really, really cool. I handed Cal Ripken Jr. a baseball to get autographed, and he handed it back to another kid.
Oh, so he did autograph it.
Yes.
But you didn't get it.
And then that kid took off.
Yeah.
1996, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was,
that's
you
cool.
know, it was like right after they built the ballpark, so
Yeah, I bet it was awesome.
it was. It was really cool. And everyone was on steroids, so the home run derby was phenomenal.
The jet stream, or was that not a thing yet? There?
No, that was definitely a thing. Yeah.
It was a big hitter's park.
Yeah.
The old ballpark.
Yeah. It was fun.
Yes, it is next. Is that Tuesday, July 16th?
Yes, a week from today.
Okay. So, 32 players will have their first ever All-Star game. So that's a ton. I don't know if that's a record or not. Including, and I mentioned a couple of these guys just because they're people that we have some connection to in some way. Who's the Baltimore catcher?
Adley Rushman.
That's how you say his last name, Rushman?
Mm-hmm.
Is he the guy that we were talking to KG about?
We've brought him up.
Do you remember, because he was a real highly touted catching
Yeah.
prospect? Is that
Superstar.
it?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's already because Jonah Heim was the starting All-Star catcher last year,
Yeah.
but he got voted in. And really, what got me down this rabbit hole of just even looking into the All-Star game and kind of caring?
Can I guess?
Go ahead.
Who is Kirby Yates?
We're going to get there.
Okay.
That is a Rangers pitcher who is on the All-Star team.
Yeah, I saw that story like a week ago. Like, Kirby Yates on the edge of the All-Star voting. I'm like, I can't help you here.
The Rangers only have 2 All-Stars.
Yeah.
And last year's, Torey Lovello, we all know him as the manager of
That's entirely your game.
the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Uh-huh.
Will
Yeah.
be managing because they were in the World Series last year.
Got it.
They only have 1 player. So last year's, just lending more to the thought that World Series winners and participants even aren't necessarily the best teams in baseball.
Quite fleeting.
They've got 1 All-Star. The Rangers only have 2. And yes, one of them is named. What did you just say a moment ago?
Kirby Yates.
Kirby Yates, who apparently has 13 saves.
Yeah, he's done well.
He's got a .8 ERA.
Yeah. Hopefully he's not a Ranger in 3 weeks.
Okay, we're trying to move him at the deadline.
Yeah.
See if we can get some value out of this. He's Doge to you.
Value's never been higher.
Yeah, he's like a decade-long major leaguer who you've never heard of until you
literally
saw
never.
last week that
Yeah.
he was going to be on the All-Star team. No, what really got me down the rabbit hole was Jurickson Profar has made the All-Star game team.
Whoa.
And he has made the All-Star team in his 11th Major League season. It is his first All-Star. He is the 4th most experienced player, first-time All-Star ever. So, if you make the All-Star team, you generally are going to be...
Young.
Yeah, just somewhere in your first decade,
Yeah.
you're going to have shown enough to be an All-Star. But at his 11th year, he is finally an All-Star. He is leading the National League in batting average.
Wow.
Jurickson Profar right now.
408 on base.
And what's even more amazing to me is the fact that he didn't just make the All-Star team. He was voted in as a starter. Now, that could be because a lot of people are also voting for Fernando Tatis, and you're voting in another Padre, but I don't know. I think it's pretty amazing because I remember, I was in that keeper fantasy league with Norm.
Yeah.
Where we had
GTFBA.
We had 40-man rosters. We had then an extra 15-man minor league roster. So you had to really get as low into the minors as you could to try to stash someone and have them. And I got Jurickson Profar pretty early in his career, and he ended up being the number 1 prospect in all of baseball. Like he was on Keith Law's #1 list.
Yeah, it was him and Oscar.
Oscar Taveras?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't laugh, Blake.
But he was one of two #1 in all of baseball ranked by Keith Law prospects.
Nomar Mazara.
Nomar was the other one.
Yeah.
That flamed out, but flamed out here. Nomar Mazara has gone on to flame out of the majors, I believe.
Yeah, I think he's playing like international ball.
But Jurickson Profar kind of held on, bounced around a little bit, or maybe he just
a lot of it.
Did he go to a lot of different places?
Yeah, Rangers, Athletics, Padres, Rockies, back with the Padres, and I mean I think that's a what's his name, AJ Preller, right? I'm pretty sure AJ's the one who drafted him.
So he's always had his eye on him.
Yeah, but I mean he got hurt a lot.
He didn't have a spot.
He didn't really have a spot because it was like Rugned, which hindsight's quite funny on that one.
I thought he was pre-Rugned.
I remember bringing
him up. He
was,
but what I'm saying though is that they like he was blocked.
Yeah,
and you're blocked by Rugned Odor.
But wasn't there some controversy over just handling him as well because they were a good team? He was a kind of a young prospect that needed to play every day.
Yeah.
But then they ended up bringing him up and making him kind of a utility guy.
Yeah.
And they thought, in retrospect, maybe that thwarted his development.
Yeah.
And
he's not a DH.
That's why he never panned out. Yeah.
He was blocked by Kinsler.
He was blocked by Kinsler first.
Oh, yeah.
But then
Rugned?
I'm pretty sure, man.
He got hurt for a couple of years.
He was he didn't play for like almost 2 full years he didn't play.
But is that why they wanted to move Kinsler to the outfield?
Oh, man.
Or was that just that's where he's at in his career? I don't remember.
I don't either, but he was definitely like the future.
He was here last week with the Padres. I saw him out there and made me think through all this whole storyline. It's cool to see him. His OBP is like 860 or 880 or something.
Yeah, he's going nuts. I saw him on a recent John Boy video breakdown too. So that kind of rekindled my knowledge of actually what Jurickson Profar was doing. But I had no idea that he was good enough to be an All-Star and voted in by the fans.
Water is for
sharks and stuff.
Is he the one that said that?
Yeah. He was such a kid.
The top vote getter was Aaron Judge. He leads all of baseball in home runs, RBI, slugging, and OPS. He's already got 32 home runs. Shohei, oddly enough, was not the top vote getter. But he is voted in as the DH, which means if you wanted to, you can't make Shohei your starting pitcher because he was voted in as the DH. So I don't know how they work that out to get him on the mound, if indeed they do. Boy, I thought I had another Shohei note. Oh, no, related to that kind of is who many are saying should be the starting pitcher. Blake? For the National League.
Paul
Skeens has hit the major leagues rolling. He's unbelievable. And have you seen any Paul Skeens highlights and videos?
Oh, yeah.
He's
striking everybody out. Yep.
He's striking everybody out. He's got incredible movement. He looks really badass.
He's got Livy Dunn.
He's got Livy Dunn. He's just the coolest major leaguer that Blake thought we shouldn't draft on our fantasy team. He didn't.
I didn't say that. We just didn't get the opportunity.
You outsmarted yourself. You thought, I'll get him in a later round.
Yeah.
Somebody else jumped on him.
KG or Paul Skeens?
Did we go KG?
We eventually did, yeah.
Don't you always get at least one bit guy?
Yeah, I try to.
Yeah, so he has a strong case to start the All-Star game. He, of course, is a rookie, and he is the first player ever to become an All-Star in the season after being selected first overall in the draft.
Wow.
So that's something.
That is something.
That's
pretty cool.
The other Ranger, did I already say who the other Ranger is besides?
No.
Kirby Yates. Do you know?
Yeah, I do.
Marcus Semien. Despite the fact that his OPS last year was 826, this year is 673.
Not good.
So he's dropped off quite a bit.
Offense in general is pretty ass.
The Rangers overall?
Yeah.
He, though, is one of baseball's best defenders, and he's still got
Marcus
the nod.
Semien.
He's still Marcus Semien. And the other, at least for us, of note is the player that Snoop has learned about as well, is Ellie De La Cruz, who is also awesome. Kind of like Skeens, just awesome to look at, awesome to watch play. He's electric.
Is he overrated already?
I think people see his highlights and thinks he hits, 315.
Okay.
And
his numbers are actually a little bit better than I thought they were, but he's also leading the major leagues in strikeouts. I just remember last year when it was like, hey, this guy can steal second, third, and home. And everybody was really fired up about it.
430-foot bomb.
Yeah, and then throw a rope. But he also seems like kind of a wild-ass baseball player.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll make the All-Star team when he's 32. Again.
The guy not on the list here is, I don't see Jazz Chisholm. He's another guy we follow.
He's oft injured.
Bobby Witt Jr. made it.
Yeah.
Colleyville kid.
Well, he's like
awesome.
If not Aaron Judge, he might be the MVP.
Yeah.
My brother bets on him to win or to hit a home run every day.
I saw him on Twitter doing something like that.
Mm-hmm.
What's this bit?
I don't know. I think he was just looking at like exit velo and.
Does your brother bet too much? Is
I would say that would be a fair assessment.
The
yes.
segment we will get into soon.
Yes.
All right.
Beers at Globe Life run about $10 depending on what you want. But for a special night in Cleveland in 1974, they were 10 cents a piece. This game has been immortalized because it got out of hand in the 9th inning. No way. And Dan was sent the play-by-play of the game from the Texas Rangers radio booth. Yes, a crazy DFer out there was recording games on the radio in 1974 and somehow had this and kept it and sent it to Dan. So, not sure if it's never heard before audio, but it's got to be close. Here's Dan presenting 10 Cent Beer Night from our Friday episode with Tim Cowlishaw.
This is how it works, Tim. We're teaching Tim.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
About
thank you.
About this new medium, this new world that we're in.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of little stuff that we have. I got Micah versus the media. I got to follow up on the Olympic, the mayor who's going to swim in the River Seine.
Again?
You ever been to France?
Last summer.
Oh, yeah?
We went to London and Paris. It was very nice.
Pretty sweet, isn't it? I was there this year. My daughter was
Paris?
studying there, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I like Paris. I'd been to London before, but I'd never been to Paris. It was great.
But she didn't drive a lot. That's why she got in an accident. She didn't have a lot of practice. Anyway, but you need to know someone. Like, I went with, because she was there going to school, and just for her to now be able to navigate us around on the, I don't know if it was difficult for you. I mean, a lot of people do speak English. But
yeah, there's a lot of English. They sneer
just,
at you for not speaking French.
Yes.
But they will.
You're supposed to like attempt to
Yeah.
speak French, so we did.
But it's pretty easy to get around. It's not too bad.
Okay. Anyway, what I have like a big meaty thing is there's a good listener of ours whose name is Brad Friedman.
Okay.
And around June, if you remember, June 4th was the 50-year anniversary of 10 Cent Beer Night.
Cleveland.
Yeah. And Brad Friedman was a kid back then, and he used to record the games on cassette tapes.
Very cool.
And he contacted me and said, because he knew I had also done such a thing. I've talked in the past about having a box full of cassette tapes, and I've digitized them. And in fact, other listeners have sent me like, hey, man, I was recording The Ticket every day for 3 years back in 1996. And so,
Why are you laughing?
And people do that. And so I will take their tapes and I'll just digitize them over time, because it's just a matter of time. You put in a tape, press play, and you have to walk away because it's not digital already. So you got to record everything in real time. Anyway, Brad Friedman gave me his cassette. He said he used to record the commercials because he was, I don't know why, but he liked the commercials as a kid. So he would turn it off when the game came on. But he said, this game, he's recording the commercials, but then, boy, this game is it's getting out of control. I should sit and record the game. And so that's what I have for you. 10-cent beer night. You correctly identified. What's your just...
the
as
Rangers,
a sports expert...
The Rangers are playing Cleveland. Billy Martin's managing the Rangers. So the Rangers were kind of prone to get into fights and things anyway. That year, it was the first year the Rangers were any good. 100-loss team the first 2 years. Then Billy Martin came here, and they were good in their third year. Or they were about a 500 team. And just completely out of control. Fans on top of the dugout, players leaving the dugout.
Yeah.
All kinds of mayhem.
So that's kind of what I knew.
Here's the thing. They used to have 10-cent beer night at State Fair Coliseum at Dallas Blackhawk games that we went to. So they had that. It sounds ridiculous now. Sounds like a bad idea in this era. But they did have it. Maybe they didn't have it in Major League Baseball, but they had it. You know, Cleveland got no fans back then, so they're trying to get somebody to show up. Hey, we'll give them beers for 10 cents and see how that goes.
Dallas Blackhawk baseball?
Hockey, right?
Hockey.
I was going to say, because we had the
Dallas Blackhawks.
I have a jersey. We had the Dallas Freeze and the Fort Worth Fire, right?
Freeze was after the Blackhawks.
Okay.
Blackhawks was 70s, maybe into the 80s, and then gone. Freeze was like 80s into the 90s.
Big time divorced dad weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Minor league hockey.
Yes, of course. I've taken my daughter to minor league hockey because it was like she doesn't know the difference.
Yeah.
She's just as happy there as she is at a Stars game.
Yeah.
So that's all I knew too.
Yeah.
I knew it, and we've talked to Tom Grieve many times about 10-cent beer night.
Yeah.
Because he had like the greatest game in his major league history.
Really?
Wiped away by the end up at a final of 9-0. So all the stats from the game don't end up counting. So I looked more into 10-cent beer night after getting this cassette. The Indians actually had a nickel beer day in 1971, a few years prior, and everything was fine. 10-cent beer night, they say, is equivalent to a 62-cent beer today.
That's still pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Pretty cheap.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. 62. Yeah.
That's about right.
Yeah.
A discount on the regular price of 65 cents in 1974, which would be the equivalent of $4 today.
Still pretty cheap.
So, yeah, that would be a cheap beer if you can get a $4 beer. Thanks a lot, Biden.
Okay.
So, they have a little sticker of him. Said, I did this when you go buy your
beer.
When you go buy your
From
beer.
the robot.
So what I also didn't realize about this was, so one of the reasons, not only, I mean, Billy Martin was the manager, so you're right. They were prone to get into fights. In fact, the week prior is the legendary, you've probably seen this clip, if you're any level of a baseball fan and you're on any level of online. Have you ever seen the clip of Lenny Randle laid down a bunt so he could smash the pitcher with his forearm?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the pitcher had come high and tight on Lenny Randle, and apparently Lenny Randle, who ended up beating up his manager in the future, Frank Lucchese, right? He, on purpose, laid a bunt right down the first base line so that he could time it up so when the pitcher picks up the ball, he could just throw his forearm right into his the side of his head.
And it's really well done because you have to
It's incredible.
If you bunt a little towards second base, the pitcher's not going to get over far enough. I mean, he got it to where the pitcher was going to be set up for him.
And
good bunt.
Incredible.
Good
Hand-eye
bunt.
coordination. They should probably have given him a little something for that.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They ended up having a bench-clearing brawl. So that was the week prior. Mm-hmm. And apparently Indians fans were kind of stoked on that. And, local radio or whatever was kind of, like, hey, the hated Rangers are coming to town, and we hate Billy Martin, and we hate this. So it just so happened they had 10-cent beer night on the same night. They expected they usually drew under 5,000 fans. They expected we're going to maybe double this, probably more. 10, maybe 15,000. They ended up with 25,000 fans.
Jesus. And that's in a stadium that seats about 70. So you imagine what it looked like with 5,000.
80 for football.
Yeah, 80.
So that's I grew up there. That's my home stadium.
Right.
It was so big. It's really crazy. So that's the setup, I guess. Mm-hmm. So now you have 10-cent beer night. And now you have the Rangers actually got off to a 5-1 lead. But the Indians are making a comeback. And let me just play you some of the audio that our good listener Brad Friedman gave me. This is just the opening of the game.
Rangers baseball is on the air, brought to you by Schlitz Brewing Company. You only go round once in life. Why settle for second best? When you're out of Schlitz, you're out of beer. And by Chevy Trucks, built to give you lasting value. And by Champion, the world's #1 selling spark plug. And by the Arlington Convention and Visitors Bureau. It's Arlington, Texas, for the good times.
I just thought I like that stuff.
Who is that?
That voice? I don't know. I know the play-by-play guy is named Dick Reisenhoover.
Dick Reisenhoover. I was going to guess that that's him.
I'm sorry.
Reisenhoover. He was a local TV guy for a little while. I think that's him.
I love that transatlantic delivery.
So Dick Reisenhoover probably... Like back in those days, you would do the open, you would do the intro, you would do, there wasn't 4 guys. It was just one guy.
And he definitely does not talk like that.
In his basement. Hi, honey, I'm home.
When you're out of
Is dinner ready?
Champion spark plugs.
You're out of here.
Also, Schlitz didn't really survive. Chevy still doing well.
Yeah.
But it feels like Schlitz.
Schlitz is weird because
that's still a beer.
Schlitz, in 1974, I was familiar with the local beers, or the beers sold in Dallas, and Schlitz was not a prominent. Nobody drank Schlitz. I'm surprised it was even advertised.
So it's Dick Reisenhoover and Bill Merrill. They are the announcers.
Okay.
Don't know if you've ever heard of that name.
Bill Merrill.
So here, let's go to cut 2. Like I said, our good listener was really just recording commercials, but then he starts noting things are happening. This is the top of the 7th. The Rangers are leading 5-3.
Mr. Shylock is getting very disturbed about this whole business. He is the crew chief here. And I think he's motioned. I think he said one more, and that's it. I believe that's what Nestor said. One more, and that's it. He looked at Larry McCoy. And here's 2 more. Coming out of the left field stands and running towards center.
People throwing stuff on the field.
No.
Running on the field.
Oh, okay.
One of them headed for the
They're coming out of the stands all the time.
And the other one cutting right across the middle of the diamond towards right field. And he's going to shake hands with Charlie Spikes. There he goes again. For the fans.
They're just drunk.
For the first time, 2 of the fans starting to boo. I think some of the baseball fans that are here getting a little tired of the exhibitions put on by some of the youngsters.
Well, they should.
Well, you pay good money to see a ball game, and then something like this, it's really asinine to say the least.
So, yes, youngsters is a term that is going to be used a lot here today.
Yeah.
Too bad for the youngsters.
So, really, it was inning breaks and if you are bringing in a reliever, which Cleveland was doing.
Milt Wilcox, who was involved in that brawl down at Arlington Stadium a few days ago, is coming on the pitch.
Nestor Shylock, the third base umpire, just barely dodged a cup that was coming straight for his head. He was standing on the left field line near the bullpen and motioned that Aspromonte wanted Wilcox.
So, yeah, now things are, we're now in the 7th. We've been drinking for a while.
Yeah.
There was also, I should mention, sometimes the promotions are stopped. They didn't stop beer sales ever.
No.
And there was no limit. You could buy as many beers as you want. Like now they'll say, you can only buy 2 every time you go up, just to kind of make it a little harder.
And stop after the 7th
or 6th or whatever.
Yeah, but we're trying to make money here. We can't.
We've got a good crowd here.
We can't limit that. So where am I now? I'm on cut 4, cut 3. Yeah, cut 4. Yes, this is, again, now our good listener Brad is scrambling to hit record every time he hears something, and you'll hear the clip.
We have a timeout here. We can always count on several fans jumping out of the stands. Here comes another one. They're all youngsters. This one running from left field across to right field at a fast sprint.
Play-by-play.
Not stopping to bother the players.
We're now bored.
Kevin Harlan.
Wilcox was a starting pitcher for Cleveland most of last year, but this year he has started only 1 ball game.
Let's just kind of keep the play-by-play rolling. I'm doing a little play-by-play on the guy running. And then, by the way, I'm also trying to tell you about what's going on.
Also, didn't really need to know why he felt the need to shit on the pitcher.
We're still running down stats of that new pitcher, though.
Has a good earned run average, 2.30. Well, here comes another streaker out belatedly as Wilcox has completed his warm-up tosses. Now he takes off his shirt and waves it as he heads towards right field. Everyone in the infield ignoring him as he now heads for the stands. Time out on the field until he clears the field of action. Dunberg at third, Johnson at second, Burroughs on at first, and Tom Greaves
the bases are
is
loaded.
at the plate. He's homered twice in singles, scored 3 runs. 3 for 3.
Like I said,
that is a good night. Yeah.
Tag.
Did he have 20 homers in his whole career?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, take a look real quick. Not many.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was 3 for 3, 2 home runs.
Yeah, that's a big, and he's up with the bases loaded.
And he's up with the bases loaded.
Surely something's going to happen.
So yeah, hey, nice tease there, Tim. Let's see what happens as his
at-bat plays. They still have teases
out.
in podcasts.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to Greaves. As a long drive to center field. Way back on the run is Hendrick near the ball, and he's got it. Right against the fence for out number 3. Good gracious, he almost had a grand slam homer to straightaway center.
The ball is a beach ball coming up there. It's like the greatest game of my life. And
what year is this?
74.
1974. How many did he have that year? I'll bet you he didn't have 5.
9.
Okay.
But yeah.
So 2 in that game.
He could have had double-digit home runs.
Yeah.
Wiped off the history. So anyway, now it's the inning break because he flew out, and every inning break just means chaos.
And the last one was a streaker. We finally had a streaker here, and he headed for the left center field fence with a policeman in pursuit. He threw his clothes over the right center field fence. He threw his clothes over the right center field fence. He made a leap to get over that big fence and didn't make it. And then with the policeman fast on him, the streaker jumped for a second time and barely made it.
Dick, he did a flip when he went over that fence, and I bet you'd heard him. What he didn't know was, that we could see, was there was a policeman coming up to meet him on the other side. Now they're starting to throw beer in the dugout of the Rangers down third base.
And the Ranger bullpen has vacated the bullpen, and they have headed into the dugout. They just got too tough down there in the bullpen in right field. They were throwing everything at him. And now the umpires have called Aspromonte, the manager of Cleveland, out. Nestor Shylock and Larry McCoy were talking with him, and I'm sure that Nestor told him, unless this ceases, we are going to forfeit this ball game. You almost have to feel sorry for Aspromonte because obviously no one has any control over this crowd.
Can I say, I feel like that's almost racist.
Go on.
I'm
I'm not following that.
Well, there's an SH word in there that I don't love.
I didn't catch it.
Shylock?
That's his name.
His name is
Nestor
Shylock.
I know, but it just feels like he really enjoyed saying that.
Oh my God.
So
that might be a reach, but I see what you're doing.
Here, now we're doing play-by-play of...
It felt like he just was like, okay, free pass.
Play-by-play of stuff going on in the stands.
Okay.
Naturally, the umpires want to do everything they can to get the ball game in. Now we've got a fight going on down near third base behind the dugout. Police are moving in. No balls, one strike. Policeman on top of the Ranger dugout.
Just reset the count.
Yeah, I mean, this is all happening during the game. Most of it was during the breaks.
Got a lot to do there.
But it's all happening during the game. Okay, now this one, there's a lot here.
Okay.
In fact, we might just have to play it a couple times. This next clip. Okay.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Curveball, swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him waiting. Second strikeout for Foucault. One gone. Frank Duffy is up.
I think I noticed the police are starting to use their billy clubs, so that may subside it a little bit.
So we always talk about, is the death penalty a deterrent? So this guy is saying the billy clubs might cause, now we know they're serious, and they're waving the billy clubs and smashing people with billy clubs during the game.
Yeah.
If you think you're worried
the 2-1
about...
count.
If you're worried as
Frank Duffy's coming up.
Boston fan about taking your kid to the game and then the crowd yelling the ref sucks or somebody sucks, you're like, how would you worry if you took your kid to this game?
Yeah.
Although in the 70s it was
Billy clubs are coming out.
In the 70s you're like, yeah, whatever. Okay.
Duffy is up.
I think I noticed the police are starting to use their billy clubs, so that may subside it a little bit.
There goes another fan racing down the right field line. All of these people who have gone on the field tonight have been youngsters for the most part.
What would you expect?
Again, yeah.
Old guys running around.
Curveball in for a call strike. Of course, we did have the lady who wandered out to home plate, and I think she wanted to kiss Larry McCoy, but he wouldn't take his mask off. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fastball popped foul behind the plate. Coming back to Sundberg, maybe in the stands, and he reaches, can't get it. It's 2 rows up, and a fan with a glove made the catch.
Nick, after seeing that woman, I'm glad. I don't believe I'd have taken my mask off either.
That's awesome.
70s humor.
She was so ugly.
She was just disgusting.
So an ugly lady ran out on the field.
Catch.
Nick, after seeing that woman, I'm glad. I don't believe I'd have taken my mask off either.
She started down to first base, and Joe Brinkman, the first base umpire, started down the right field line.
They're all laughing at how homely she was. The first base umpire ran away from her. The home plate wouldn't take his mask off.
So gross.
Pre-Morgana. You know what Morgana is?
I interviewed Morgana.
Did you really?
Yes.
Did you just ask him that?
Do you know what Morgana is?
Of course, but it's Tim Cowlishaw.
Mm-mm. What is it?
Let's tell the...
You know who Morgana was? She was a stripper who ran onto the field to kiss players at various games.
Okay.
It became legendary. She was called Morgana, the Kissing Bandit.
Yes.
And it was like, ooh, would she show up here? Would she show up? And it was like... Yeah. It was fun. Like, okay.
And the biggest one
nowadays
was Nolan, right?
Did she get Nolan?
I think so, or she tried to. Can't remember. She did.
Yeah, and then he put her in a headlock and he started pounding her.
That's a different story.
Oh,
but
it is? Okay, I thought that was the same thing. Let's go to break at top of the 8th.
Right field to left, and a couple of them have been captured. One of them tried to get back in the left field seat, and he was caught. And I believe we have a fan who has gotten sick of all of this. He went out in right center field, and he got him one, and he's marching him back across the field right now. And here comes a policeman to help him out. I believe it's a fan who just got sick of all of it.
So he's an older guy.
Yeah, vigilante.
He is upset that these youngsters aren't letting me. I'm scoring the game here.
Right.
So he runs onto the field to take this guy off.
Yeah.
and he went out and crapped one of the youngsters running across, and he's marching him back towards the left field stands, and now a policeman has come over to relieve him.
To relieve him.
Yep, I'm pretty sure that that's what happened. And now a policeman grabs that fan, and he has taken him off. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe he wasn't trying to help, but it sure looked that way to me. He pulled him off that wall in right center field, wouldn't let him get out of the park, and marched him back across. And the fan who did that is now being taken in by the police.
May have been a case of the tipsy leading the tipsy.
The tipsy.
Whatever. The field appears to be clear now. Every half inning, we have mobs of youngsters racing across the field.
Mobs
of youngsters.
We're trying to go into the last half of the 8th inning.
Oh, they've almost made it.
Now the fans are throwing cups, paper cups, down on the policemen as they lead the two fans. Our brave announcer, Bill Merrill, is about to challenge 25,000 fans and head down to the dugout area.
Dick, I just noticed they got 2 or 3 rowdies right down there where I've got to go, and they're big guys.
Rowdies.
Rowdies.
You haven't heard that in a while.
I have not, no.
But a couple of rowdies were down there.
But Bill's had enough.
So now let's head to the 9th.
And after 8 in our continuing saga between the Indians, the Rangers, and the Cleveland fans, the score remains Texas 5 and Cleveland 3. And to first base coach Jackie Moore. Jackie leaned over, talked with him for a few moments, and then the youngster ran back and got into the first base stands. We're going into the top half of the 9th inning. That is, if we have a little luck. There's another one running across from left field to right field.
Okay. So now in our next clip, things are really, we're going to take it to a next level. Okay, we're in the top of the 9th.
One of them takes off his shirt, spreads the arms wide, and now they're streaking. Well, we've got a couple of more streakers to go out there. Now they're headed for the center field fence.
What a time to be alive.
Balled up on the fence, pull themselves up. Whoops, didn't make it there. There's a policeman out there waiting for them. And they jump back down on the playing field. Now they're running back towards right field. And here comes a policeman out to join them there. They're going to be in trouble. I think they've got him. I think they got him surrounded. A policeman is coming out from the playing field area. There are policemen in behind the fence, and they don't know where to go. Now here comes another fan jumping over the left field fence, another one over the center field fence. They've gone all the way out to the center field area. They jump up on the fence. Oops, they're going to go over there. There they go. And the last fan, here comes 3 more from the left field area. 3 more start out. That's the grounds crew. I beg your pardon. And now someone throws some firecrackers down in front of the Ranger dugout.
Oh, my God.
They explode. One of the Rangers throws up a white powder.
Okay, so
they love it.
Firecrackers.
They brought firecrackers. So everybody held on to their firecrackers until the 9th.
Yeah.
There's a little blooper in the left field. Coming out in a hurry is Lee's there and makes the catch as a firebomb explodes along the foul line.
More firecrackers.
As the ball hit Lee's glove, a firebomb hit the foul line about 25 feet away from him and exploded at the same time. So Randall is out on a little sinking line drive in shallow left field.
So is he talking M80 there? Something like that? A firebomb?
Yeah.
Can you imagine, though, if every play you're like
shooting Roman candles at you?
Yeah, you're worried about a firework coming at you, and the umps are like, I think we can still get this in, guys.
5 more
It's already
outs.
official.
I think this is fine.
Yeah.
They're so close.
Yeah.
They're in the 9th.
Tax 3 for 3.
I mean,
3 or 4
what
at this
kept him
point,
from
but-
getting to the finish line?
All right, top of the 9th is over.
Another cup floats from the upper deck, lands about 10 feet in front of Jeff Burrows in the on-deck circle. 1-2 count. And now we've got a fight going in behind the Ranger dugout. We've got a couple of fans going after it. They're throwing punches. Wilcox, the pitcher, is watching them. A policeman dashes in and separates them. Johnson's in the batter's box and ready to go, so Wilcox looks in. Now he's ready. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Ground ball to the shortstop. Duffy fields it.
Reset.
Yeah. Spin time. Johnson is out. 6-3, and the inning is over. So in the top half of the ninth inning, the Rangers are down in order as more demonstrators flood out from the right field and the left field stands, and they head across the field. Good grief, there must be 50 of them now. I think everyone in the stands is coming
Demonstrators.
out. We're going into the last half of inning number 9, with the Rangers leading 5-3.
Okay, so 5-3.
Yeah.
It's important to note the comeback is a big part of all of this because that just gets the crowd even going more nuts. Where am I at here? Okay.
Bottom 9.
So, yeah, the top of the ninth is over. And we get now to... All right. Even the Indians, my note here is even the Indians players are getting worried now because the Rangers players they had to clear the Rangers dugout, bullpen. And I believe in retrospect or in looking, but it's like that was part of the reason they ended up having to forfeit is that Billy Martin couldn't get a reliever ready.
Right.
Yeah.
They couldn't warm up.
There's no place to warm up.
And the Rangers are coming back. He needs to go to the bullpen. The Indians are coming back, and he can't go to the bullpen to try and stop this bleeding here.
They're vacating the Cleveland bullpen now. The commotion down around the bullpen area has gotten rather severe, so the Cleveland bullpen is now running into the first base dugout. And we must have about 30 fans on the field, mostly in right center right now. But back to the Rangers Special Group Rates 2 organization.
Here's in the middle of a live read.
You're going to go back to a promo?
So Cleveland is rallying. In fact, they get the bases loaded.
Oh.
And so, we're fired up here. And I think this is where, I don't know if we want to play this whole thing. This is like a 3-minute cut, but let's just hear because this is where it all...
Can I ask one question? Did you say in the top of the ninth there were 50 people on the field?
That's what he was saying, yeah. Between
in the
inning break.
They
run around.
It was always the inning break. They would clean it all up and then they would start it again and the fans could hold their water.
Because that feels like the most amount of people I've ever seen on a field in my life.
Oh, my God. It's incredible.
By far.
It's like home run derby with the kids running around.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
Really pursuing them. The Rangers and the Indians are all going after the fans in right field. They've got...
So you have to the Indians have loaded the bases and everybody's going so nuts. Now we're not relegating it to inning breaks. Now we're running out onto the field and
mid-game,
during the game, during play, and the teams get together to start beating up the fans who are on the field.
Really pursuing them. The Rangers and the Indians are all going after the fans in right field. They've got one of them down out there in right field, and they're really pummeling them. They're giving it to them out in right field now.
Imagine that.
The Indians and the Rangers both were going after the fans.
They're kicking him
on the field. They've finally gotten enough. So time is out. The fans now, I believe, have gotten back into the stands. A lot of the Rangers are still out there. Now here comes some more of the fans over the center field fence. But the players charged out of the third base dugout and they took off after the fans in right field. And the Indian bench also emptied and headed out there with them. So the two teams who did battle in Arlington Stadium not too long ago have now joined together against the rowdy fans here in Cleveland. And we have youngsters out on the field everywhere now. They are flowing out over the fences in left field and in center field, and they're standing off on the fringes of the action. And Billy Martin is talking with Nestor Shylock, and I'm sure that Billy is arguing that this ball game should be forfeited. And there is one fan being tackled by an Indian, and he's giving it to him. One fan out there was tackled by an Indian, And he is giving it to him. We've got a couple of fights going. And the stands are emptying. We may have a full-fledged riot going at Cleveland Stadium. Fans are coming out of the stands on the left field side, in behind home plate, and we must have about 500 of them located out there in right field. And now some of them are dashing off to the right towards the stands. And the Ranger players are moving back towards the third base dugout. We have fans all over the field. I believe one of the Indian players was hit by something. He's holding his head, and a policeman is helping him back towards the first base dugout. One of the Indian players was struck by something. He's holding his head, and he needs attention. One of the Indian players motioning to the trainer to come to his aid as the player is now heading back towards the dugout. We still have a mob of people out in right field. Several of the Ranger players are milling around on the skin portion of the diamond on the right side. And Steve Foucault is walking off the mound towards the dugout. And I don't know, but I think, and now someone threw some beer on Foucault, and Foucault fired his glove into the stands at him. Just as Foucault was stepping into the dugout, someone threw some liquid on him. And now a policeman just got doused with some more liquid. And the Rangers are moving back into the dugout, and I do not know if we're going to continue this ball game or not.
Honestly, that guy killed it.
The announcer?
Yeah. Like, I feel like I was watching that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. I don't know.
You had a lot to cover.
Let's see.
We laugh about, like, the Kevin Harlan Black Cat Giants game thing, but
those things last about 5 seconds.
That's the beauty in my head as a young little baseball nerd of the audio medium. The audio medium. That's where I would fall asleep listening to these games. You know, you got to describe everything. You know, you get your simulcast now or whatever, and you know that's why Nadell is so good at it.
Mm-hmm. Well, most of the games weren't on TV then.
Right.
The Rangers were showing 20 games a year, so that game probably wasn't on TV.
So you had to do it that way.
Yeah, you had to listen to the game.
It couldn't have been on TV. You would have seen.
Yeah, right.
We would have seen video of this.
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible?
But the fact they went to the 9th inning, it took them that long.
Right.
And
they still haven't called it yet.
People have had 20
the things
beers.
we tolerated back then.
They're still trying to figure out. There's 500 people on the field. They haven't called it yet.
They're trying to get this game in, folks.
Nestor's got a slow trigger.
It is tied at 5-5
in
the last of the 9th inning with 2 men out, and the Indians have runners at second base and third base. But this is a wild mob scene.
Yeah.
Other Ranger players are now walking back towards that third base dugout. And Duke Sims and a fan are going after it to the right of the mound. And now a couple of the Rangers join in with Sims, and a fan is down to the right of the mound. And here come some other Rangers out there to help. Tom Grieve rushing in, Mike Hargrove rushing in, and the police are also there. They've got them separated. Alex Johnson in there, and now all the fans are moving down towards the mound. I tell you what, I wish the Rangers would go ahead and get inside the dugout now, because it's getting ugly out there.
Now? Like, how about that?
3 hours?
Like, run, get into the clubhouse. The whole team should be in the clubhouse right now.
Do you know what it takes to make Tom Grieve punch someone?
I mean, yeah, that's... I've heard Hargrove talk about this in a different. There's a Cleveland podcast. Their point of view, but they didn't have any play-by-play and everything. But Hargrove talked about, he was like they were just beating up, just pummeling some fan because they were out on the. So now, remember we sent. This is my last cut, but you remember we sent the color commentator. He was going to go down there.
Barrel.
Oh, Bill Merrill. He's got to go down to the Rowdies.
Nick, I got out of the mob. No way I can get through that to the
He comes
field.
back.
And there they go again. And the least little thing, of course, this is no ball game anymore. It's turned into literally a riot. I mean, that's what it's like. To vent their energies and what have you and venom, and they've done it.
Bill, I don't blame you for coming back up here because it's gotten awfully nasty down there. We've got fans fighting among fans right now. Policemen are waving their billy clubs and slashing at air and trying to drive the fans back.
Picture
when
that.
I first went down, Dick, a couple of fans got in a fight right next to me, and one of them wanted to watch the ball game, and the other just wanted to start trouble, and so they got in a fight.
Here's one fan sliding into home plate, took his shoes off.
You're right. He's very descriptive.
Yeah.
A policeman
I feel like I can see it.
swinging a
Swinging
billy club
air,
at air to drive everyone back. It's like swinging it at a wild animal or something, you know? And then a fan sliding into home.
Takes third to home.
Bro, I'm on the field. I'll never get a chance to slide into home again.
I got to do it.
But take the shoes off. You don't want them to get dirty.
Boy, I would love to interview that guy.
You got to do it. If you're on a major league field, and you're 10 beers in at $8, you got to steal home.
Well, there you go.
It. That's awesome,
man.
That's to my knowledge the most comprehensive audio or video from that game. I've never heard anything from that game.
That's terrific.
Talked about it for a long time. So thanks to Brad Friedman. That's his name.
Some other things you may have missed from our Friday episode if you aren't a subby. Jake was late to his first ever show on Friday. Hear why in the open. Dan defends disco music of all things to Tim Cowlishaw. And hear whether Tim chooses the first 90 or last 10. Let's get to the news, where we learn Dan was a CB guy in his younger days, and wouldn't you know it, when choosing a handle, Dan McDowell went with the comedy route. Route. Here's the news from Tuesday, July 9th.
Here's Jake with the Dumb Zone News.
Should we live stream the All-Star Game?
That's the worst idea you've ever had.
Oh, okay.
So this is a headline that I guess I didn't really know that this was still happening, but it is interesting. Target will no longer accept personal checks as a form of payment. When's the last time you wrote a check?
I have very few bills. In fact, I was looking at this the other day.
He's taking his headset off. He's grabbing what appears to be a checkbook, and that's...
Do you have a checkbook?
I don't.
No.
No checkbook.
Well, I still have a checkbook. And there's a couple people like... my landscaper always wants a check.
Mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't take...
Venmo or...
Yeah, so I'm like, all right. And I noted that I wrote my third check this year.
Okay.
Yeah. And the second one was for the landscaper. Or the second one. So I hit the landscaper twice and, wrote one to the insurance company as well for some reason.
Yeah, it's been a long time for me. When I was in the game of having an agent, I would get a money order.
To give him?
Yeah.
Like to pay him because he only took checks?
Yeah. Which is like, I think on my account they were free, but otherwise they're like $5. But no, I have not had a check.
Until last year.
In a long time.
I would always pay my property tax with a check. For some reason. And then last year...
He's laughing at you.
I decided to go ahead and put it all online.
It is really annoying, though, like, if you get behind someone in line who has the right one.
It's very rare, but yes, in the grocery store or whatever.
Yeah, and I suppose that's what Target's trying to do away with. You know what I saw the other day? Where was I?
Boy, them property taxes are going up.
You know what? It might have been...
Scroll back through the
You're not kidding.
All right, Dad.
That's the proper dad response.
You're not kidding. What's the damage? I wrote
a letter last year.
A little protest?
To fight, yeah.
How'd that go?
Not well.
No?
Did they cut something off for your effort?
No.
Oh, once we went through this whole thing, had to go to Tarrant County, the courthouse and all this, and I think they ended up shaving like a few $100 off it.
Did you feel like it was worth it?
No. That's why we've never done it since.
Yeah, do the website?
You can do the website, yeah.
I did that this year.
Protest through the website?
Yeah.
It's easy.
But last year,
also easy for them to hit.
Deny?
Nope. Yeah.
No, it just happens like within like 2 seconds. They give you an answer and it's done.
Oh.
Sorry, Dan.
But no, I got
this
out
Duke
my...
knows business.
I feel like it's
Yeah.
Well, no, but
you've done it, haven't you? On the Tarrant County one?
My wife. I'm not the guy, pal. In Galveston, I was at a gas station where you just put all your stuff on the, I don't know, like the checkout thing, and it just like scans it for you.
They have that at the Rangers game.
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
Like, you don't even have to scan it like self-checkout. Like I had like 2 Gatorades and 2 waters.
You set it all there next to each other?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it tells you what it costs.
Yeah.
There's a new one at the airport it says an Amazon store.
Whoa.
And you don't even do that. You just pick stuff up
Yeah.
and leave.
Yep.
And
There's
it
like
just has
there's
your
like
account?
80 there's like 80 cameras on the ceiling. And it's just tracking what you're doing.
Yeah.
You just walk out. It's weird.
You've done it just for the
I
experience?
did it just this weekend. Well, I didn't know what it was. I walked in, I grabbed like water or something.
And you left?
And you walk out. I asked the little lady at the door, like, what is this? How does this work? And she pointed to the ceiling. There's a bunch of cameras. It's weird.
And then you flew to El Paso.
Then I flew to El Paso. That's right. Yes, I needed water for El Paso.
There's a countersuit that has been filed by Jerry Jones against a woman claiming to be his daughter, and it is now scheduled for jury trial. I don't know why he wants to do this, but jury selection will begin.
So wait, he is suing her now?
Yeah.
Okay, it's because she won't back off.
Yeah, but does he really want this to go to trial? Just write her a check.
Yeah, but he already did that 20 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, and I guess that is kind of
it's not about a check.
what he's saying. He's saying that the Alexandria, the daughter and the mom, have violated a contract that they entered into in 1998.
Well, what they're doing is, don't you think it's a stall game too? Probably it's a double.
Probably, yeah.
It's probably a double thing. Number one, I can keep stalling this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like tied up in court more. And number two, we've dealt with this. I have all the money in the world. I'll keep suing that. They have to pay for lawyers now. They're going to have to pay for this somehow. And, they might just decide to back out because it's gone too far.
The weirdest part to me about this is that publicly he continues to deny that he is the father. But if you actually believe that, why would you be paying them all this money? I mean, he's in for several $1 million now. Like, he's got this contract. Why would you just... Listen, if a lady that I'd never had sex with came up to me and was like, well, you owe me $500,000 a year because you're my kid's parent. I think I would be like, I never had sex with you.
Or a DNA test.
What's in this right now?
Where you jerk off in a cup.
Okay. That's not how that works, I've come to learn. But you know what I'm saying, though? Like, why is it that he still publicly says, no, definitely not, but also enters into these, contractual obligations with them, the family, that requires him to pay all this money?
So, yes, so he's already paid the money.
Just say it's your kid.
He's suing for...
defamation.
You're breaching this contract or whatever that we signed years ago.
Isn't that pretty much saying that you're acknowledging it?
Yeah.
But he's probably trying to protect his estate, right?
Yeah, maybe that's part of it.
When he dies, he's going to have to give her...
Yeah.
She's now in charge of the cap.
This is just so succession-y. She's...
Yeah.
She's supplanted Will McClay.
But yeah, I mean, he pays her like a monthly trust. And annually, it says also.
Damn.
She'll receive financial support until the ages of 24, 26, and 28 as long as the contract is not violated. But he is saying that it has been.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. She should have wrote that out, bro. I'm telling you, again, I got a father that left when I was a baby.
And you got nothing.
And I got zero out of it. he's just some spare. Had he entered into a contract that said, what if I give you hundreds of thousands of dollars every year and a Range Rover on your 16th birthday and all that?
She did get the range.
My car that I got when I was 16 or 17, I think cost $500.
What was it?
A Ford Pinto.
Ralph Nader, right?
Was he involved in...
Or was that the Dodge Dart?
No, the Ford Pinto was, it would explode. That was the joke. It was a 1977 Ford Pinto. So
unsafe at any speed.
That's what the Ford Pinto was?
The book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it would explode, like somehow the gas, at least before the recall, this is well before I ever got a Ford Pinto, but it was, because the car I had was, 10 years old or whatever.
So you had the knowledge.
Yeah, but I knew that was in the news when I was a little kid, was Ford Pintos explode.
Yeah.
And it was white. And that's why, and this is back in the day when me and my buddies all had CBs because there was no cell phones, so we had CBs. And my handle, that's your name.
I'm well aware, Dan.
Okay. Probably telling Blake here. No. You would have to have a name, so you'd have to identify yourself. But I couldn't just say, hey, this is Dan. You have to have a name, like a cool nickname, kind of like an avatar.
Big Mac?
No, it was the Challenger, because the Challenger exploded.
Oh, and you're in a Pinto.
And I'm in a white Ford Pinto that looks like
nice.
Could explode.
Could
like
explode.
Spaceship, yep.
So I was the Challenger.
That.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I had a CB.
Really?
Did you?
Yeah.
That's in the car?
Yeah.
Because I had one of our buddies had one just in his house.
Oh,
and
I never heard about that.
We'd be out driving around, and then we could check in, and he'd be there, and we'd be like, oh, okay, we'll come get you or whatever. Dude, we were such nerds.
Like, easily one of the
no girls, just
lowest
CBs.
points of my life. Biggest asshole move I've ever made in my life was when my parents got rid of my first car. And they actually bought me a new, it wasn't new, but they bought me a Ford F-150.
That sounds great.
They got rid of my Blazer, though, with my CB in it.
Because
it would break down once a week, and they would have to come pick me up. And I came home, and my car was gone. And I was pissed.
Just out of... Boy, they didn't let you clean it out or anything?
No.
That's kind of not cool. Why would they do that?
They were tired of picking me up.
On one hand, they're doing a real cool thing, getting you a new car.
Yeah.
You didn't pay for it, right?
No, the first car I bought, it wasn't $500, but it was $3,000. It was a 1985 K5 Blazer.
Yeah, no, I didn't buy my first car, but it was a gift.
I loved it,
What was your handle?
You know what, Kemp. I don't think I had anything cool like the Challenger. But we would go mudding, so we would have them out at the river bottoms.
What does that mean?
What do you mean, what does that mean?
I'm guessing mudding means I'm driving through the mud.
Yeah, you would be onto something.
When you say river bot, what do you describe this? I never did anything.
So out West Fort Worth, where are you from?
El Paso.
Okay, yeah, you said that, so not a lot of mudding out there.
No mud.
The Trinity River Bottoms is like a flatland out in West Fort Worth, and when it would rain, there would just be this massive, massive field full of mud, and we would just take our trucks out there and go mudding.
Because I've seen trucks after this.
Yeah, that's what it was.
You've seen them driving around town. You're like, Jesus, what was that guy doing?
Yeah, and then a lot of times you would get stuck.
And that's
especially
awesome.
If your truck was, 20 years old and sucked, and then you have to call your parents, and then eventually, after about the 5th time you do that, they're like, "We're selling your car." And that's what happened to me. It was fun though.
Man, young Jake, man.
Leather jacket.
Did the leather jacket get all muddy? Did you have to put it in a plastic bag?
Let's see if we want to do one more here. You know what? This one's I saw 3 or 4 stories like this over the weekend. The 4th of July lake death. It just feels like it's inevitable, you know? There was one at Grapevine Lake.
Because it's people going to the lake who normally don't go to the lake.
Yeah,
it's people
day trippers drinking.
Drinking on boats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too
It's
crowded.
hot.
Yeah. So there's a search underway for a swimmer that did not resurface yesterday.
I
guess
don't
it was
need
Sunday night.
I don't need a life jacket.
Dude.
I'm fine. How many people do that?
All of the drunk ones? See, that's the thing about me is like you characterize me as leather jacket guy, but I'm pretty cautious, man. Like I'm scared. You know? I'm not getting in a lake without a life jacket. There's just no chance. So this was a man and a woman swimming at Grapevine Lake on Sunday.
Is Grapevine Lake dirty?
Man, they're all pretty dirty. I was thinking about that last time we were out there. Like, should the kid be getting in this?
Mm-mm.
Amoebas?
Parasites or something?
Yeah.
Something's going to live in your ear.
Or get in your nose? You know? And I mean, I showed you guys that video of that snake.
I feel like Lake Erie was better because it's just bigger.
It's a natural lake too, right?
Probably.
Well, yeah.
It'd be hard to build that one, right?
Well, but in Texas we have Caddo and
I think that's it.
I think that might be it.
What's Caddo mean?
Lake Caddo.
Oh.
Or Caddo Lake?
That's the only natural lake.
I believe so, yeah.
In all of Texas.
I think so.
Where's that?
I think there might be somewhat near Austin.
So that big lake over by Rockwall?
That's
Ray Hubbard?
man-made.
That's fake?
Yeah.
Yes. Every lake you see in Texas is man-made.
Grapevine?
Man-made.
All of them.
In fact, I don't know if this is true or not, but when they were making Ray Hubbard, a huge flood came through and kind of filled it in. And so this is probably not true, but there are bulldozers at the bottom of Lake Ray Hubbard.
Okay, Caddo is out East Texas way, like Shreveport. But yes, that's actually true.
Okay. That's always what I heard.
That there are bulldozers.
Yes.
At the bottom, yeah.
All of those lakes.
Can you dive and explore
Can't
it?
see them.
Huh?
You can't see them.
That's the thing.
Can't see like 3
It's a
inches
man-made
of
lake.
those lakes.
That's
what
why.
if they took one of those pods that was going down to
see the Titanic?
Yeah.
Like the Blink-182 guys' stepdad? I don't know, but that's why when we have gone to Montana, it's so cool. And like this trip we're going to in Idaho, that's like a natural lake, and you can see 40 feet down.
Really?
Yeah, and it's crystal clear. The water is super, super cold. But in Texas lakes, you know.
You been to Hawaii where you can see down?
Yeah. That's also not a lake, but yeah.
No, I mean, but it's incredible.
Yeah, but it's like that in Montana.
Lake Hawaii.
Yeah. Pretty much every single lake you see here, somebody dug it out.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Which also makes it pretty dangerous. Because, you know.
Then how are there all the fish there?
There's not that many. I mean, there are fish, but it's not like good fish.
Like we had to put them there? Like the gar.
Like the gar.
Like somebody just had to throw those in? Be like, yeah, we need fish. Well, there's water.
It's part of a river system, so there's river dumping into the lake.
Runoff.
All right.
Why do you know gar?
Because I found one.
Specific.
And I thought I found a prehistoric animal.
Yeah.
When Grapevine Lake, every couple years, will either overflow or it will, like the edge we live on over here, if there's drought for a while, you could walk across it and just walk to Bob Jones Park. And so me and the kids go to the neighbor's house through their backyard and walk just down. We would go to the lake just to mess around. But then the drought year, we walked across and found this skeleton of what looked like. It was weird. It looked like it's just a long fish with like a saw as its like a nose, right? And then like it's really long snouts, but then these teeth and
an
it's
alligator
like,
gar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I learned that it was an alligator gar, and I was like, oh, that's what Mike Reiner once said.
Yeah.
Alligator gar.
Is that the fish that was eating people in Bob's erroneous report?
It doesn't look like it could open its mouth large enough to eat a person.
Maybe that was a giant catfish.
No, but they will eat other fish. I've seen
gar?
that. Yeah, I've seen that happen before.
So I never heard of the gar before finding the gar and trying to research what is this thing that I found. Like I thought I would be in the history books because I found this.
Call it the medallion.
Yeah, it's like, hey, wow, there is something still to discover in 2015, but no, apparently it's.
All right, there's your news.
The Dumb Zone News. Like and subscribe.
Okay.
The Challenger and Kemp heard weekdays on the Dumb Zone. Got some feedback this week regarding moosing that I'd like to share with the class. Got an email from the original mooser, Douglas Waterbottom, and I quote, Blake asked a great question when it came to the moose when he said, who's it for? Well, I'm here to answer that. The moose is like being part of a private gentleman's club, and while it's not stated explicitly, it's inferred that women are not part of the club. Think of it like a wink and a nod, a secret handshake, and that it can be discussed between male friends, for example, the uncancelable group text, but it is not something to be discussed with the lady or ladies that have been moosed. That's rule numero uno. To the guy who called in on the dumb phone and mentioned he liked pegging, but wasn't sure if his wife had moosed him, I can guarantee that she hasn't, simply because when a female performs the moose, it's called an Oklahoma jackalope. Cheers, Douglas Waterbottom. So there's that. All right, this next one-off clip is an all-timer from Dan. This doesn't need much setup. You'll get the context here shortly. Here's the end of the news on 7-Eleven.
A woman who was recorded up her skirt by an Irving voyeur has spoken out with Fox 4 News.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What'd she have to say?
What she had to say was... Say that again?
It was thrilling. What a ride. I'm humbled.
She was in a Dallas
that he would
Walmart.
want to look up my skirt.
Yeah. What did Charlotte say?
So, obviously, that's like the first thing we all think of.
She said the halftime show on Thanksgiving will be
Kane Brown.
Hope you're enjoying the Netflix documentary.
It was
Boy, I forgot. I got to get back on cheerleaders.
Yeah, I watched like two more after we had Sarah on, and then kind of a little bit, but it's really good. Here's what's really funny though is I wanted you guys to see this photo of this guy. He's just like, "Yep, I did it."
Yeah, that is a very. You got me. Yeah, he doesn't look remorseful.
He does not. He does.
You know
not.
the photo we want though.
What's that, Dan?
The lady.
I knew.
Let's just see if. Should she say she's humbled and honored?
So he was sentenced to 1 year for secretly recording her on 2 separate occasions.
That's probably That's probably a lot less than Ethan Couch got for running over.
I think that's true. She was 4 to 5 months pregnant at the time.
Hey now.
This is according to an interview that she did this morning with Fox 4 News.
At first I was thinking, like, why do you go back?
Was it dilating?
What? Right.
Oh my
what
God.
changed?
Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I don't even really know what that means.
I always thought it meant like the hole's just getting bigger. Does it? Right? Because they keep giving you centimeters and stuff, and now it's bigger. And you're like, oh, okay.
Like 6?
I guess the baby will fit now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a sinkhole.
A sinkhole?
Yeah. And then they stitch it back up.
Do you guys, did you know anybody in high school or whatever that was like, I'm going to try to take an upskirt photo? And you're like, that's patently disgusting.
No, I knew the kid
I've never
that
known anyone
who would glance. Like
It was
going
always
upstairs.
like a somebody would have like a shoe mirror.
I mean, you've always heard about it. I've
knew-
never thought that's
disgusting.
I've never been attracted by that area of the body, to tell you the truth. Like, I like the up tops.
I mean, it's.
I don't want to look down there. There's just.
Go ahead.
I might have grown up in more of a jungle era than you as well. It might be more pleasant to look at these days.
It's not. It's really not.
How does your era not get, especially Blake's era, not get labeled as pedophiles? If you're saying that I could be labeled as a pedophile because I'd say I'd rather have mouth braces than leg braces, when we're going full waxing down there, it's like, hey, let's try to make it look as much not like an older person as we can.
I don't really think full wax is that's not really what's happening anymore.
Just full, it's not all linoleum down there? There is a small...
Linoleum?
Just a little carpet?
Yeah, I think Jake would have more info on this.
Why?
But you seem to know more about what women have going on and the trends down there.
I mean, the porn community would...
I just think like
would indicate.
pubes are still like a thing. Now, is it like it was 35 years ago? No.
No, and you could thank us for that because we started that.
Yeah.
Like, we were the first generation that said, hey, got this beard trimmer. It doesn't have to be just on your face. What if we did a little sculpting down there?
Yeah.
So you're welcome, dudes.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
Wasn't it more of like an odor thing?
Oh my God.
Well, I don't think shaving takes that away, does it?
I think it helps.
I mean, fish don't have hair.
All right, there's your news. I'll save
Put
the rest
that on a hat.
Dumb Zone News. Like and subscribe.
You like that one?
The Dumb Zone presents.
Will Raymond have that on a T-shirt?
Fish don't have hair.
To answer Dan's question, yes, Raymond has already made it into a T-shirt, and you can find it at dumbzonemerch.com. Scroll down until you see the fish don't have hair design. Not a lot of dumb phone this week. Reminder, if you got something for us, call us, leave us a message. 903-865-DUMB, 903-865-3862. Maybe one day I'll be able to remember that without looking at my phone keypad. Last segment of the wrap-up this week. Here's Today in History from our Monday episode. Come for the Jeffrey Tambor Kemp spin. Stay for the Toby Keith Chris Christopherson story.
The Dumb Zone presents.
I don't think it was awesome.
Today in History.
What day did I say it was? Do you guys remember?
July 8th.
Was it kind of cool having that long of a break? Did you not know what day it was every day?
There were a couple moments where it was like that, yeah. You?
Yeah, I thought it was great.
You know we can make our own schedule.
I miss you guys.
I know, but we've set a standard.
You're right.
For ourselves. And I was thinking about that too. Like, there are podcasts that do like one a week, and they charge $5 a month.
Ridiculous.
We're kick ass, aren't we?
Yeah.
You guys agree?
Yeah. We're over here turning people straight.
This was pre-Dumb Zone, so
bad.
you can't take credit for that.
Maybe we'll turn you back.
Maybe.
You'll hate us so much. Today's Monday, July 8th. On this day in 1889, Jake Kilrain and John L. Sullivan fought the last bare-knuckle boxing championship fight ever.
Sully
won by knockout in how many rounds?
Don't play the millionaire thing.
Why would I ever play the millionaire thing? That's ridiculous.
Round 78.
52.
Okay, actually. Why is the millionaire?
Anybody else?
I'm going to say 97.
63.
Blake is the winner. 75 rounds.
Wow. What a payoff.
75 rounds.
Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have played that. In 1911 on this day, the worst game shows, if you're a kid and you want to do game shows, don't make the answer a number.
Right.
Because there's nothing fun about that. There's nothing funny.
Yeah.
If to just hear different numbers being guessed.
If you're a kid.
Little tip. On this day in 1911, cowgirl Two Gun Nan Aspinwall became the first woman to make a solo trip by horse across the United States. She arrived in New York 10 months after departing San Francisco. And then you recall the story the next year because then she turned around and went back. And that was called the first ever reverse cowgirl.
I like it. I like it.
Hell yeah.
Much funnier than a number.
Yeah.
Much funnier than a number, indeed. So her name is Two Gun Nan Aspinwall?
It's too long.
Two Gun Nan was her nickname.
Oh, okay.
I imagine her name was Nan.
Okay.
And then they just... Why, what?
I don't know. It's just a funny name. It sounds extremely Vietnamese.
Let's look her up.
On
Nan
it.
Aspinwall.
I thought while at the rodeo that this is how bored we used to be of, hey, let's let this steer out and then wrestle
Try
it to
and
the
catch
ground.
it. Yeah.
How fast can you do it?
Yeah.
Damn, I don't know, boys.
And then she's just like dedicating a year to her life to just riding a horse across the country.
Okay, it kind of depends on the photo, but some of these...
Not bad?
Not bad.
Really?
Not bad, Nan.
Yeah.
On this day in 1940...
Like I said, it depends on the photo.
Oh, no.
That first one, she can get it.
Is she 1911 rode across the United States hot?
Yes.
Okay. On this day in 1947, a New Mexico newspaper quoted officials at Roswell Army Airfield saying they had recovered a flying saucer that crashed onto a ranch. Officials then actually said it was actually a weather balloon.
I bet
There
it
are
was.
many people who feel
Let's go.
that is not the case. We could go through Roswell on our drive to
Roswell
Roswell,
for the fifth time.
but it would
It's a diversion.
it would take us an extra 3 or 4 hours to get to California
Yeah, and
for the guys who are driving.
on the heels of the
We're having fun here.
on the
We're
heels of
playing-
the TMZ tour, I'm not sure that I can stomach that one.
You're not about to make any calls?
It's fun, but it's like you see it for 10 minutes and you're like, okay.
Oh, you've been there.
Oh, many times.
Many.
Yeah, because it's on the way to like where we used to go skiing, Ruidosa. It's a tourist town. Every single restaurant, every single gas station, there's an alien outside. They're letting them through the border with shocking propensity. Yeah.
On this day in 2010, this is the day that LeBron James announced he was leaving the Cavs to join the Heat. This is decision.
Jim Gray.
We're at like a guys' night out.
Guys'
somewhere.
night out. Texas land and cow.
That really did change everything.
Agreed.
I mean, he is the reason for player empowerment, I would say.
Yeah.
And many bemoaned that and said it would be the ruining of the NBA. And whether you think that or not, it really did help bring the competitive balance that we see now
I agree.
across the league. I think I heard that this is only the second time ever that there have been 6 different champions in 6 years.
Wow.
And it used to be, yeah, you win a championship and you're probably going to win another
At least like
one.
2 out of 4 or something.
Yeah. On this day in 2018, this is the day that divers rescued 4 of the 12 boys who have been trapped in the flooded cave in Thailand with their soccer coach for more than 2 weeks. Then the remaining 8 boys and the coach were rescued over the next couple days. Back to Elon, right?
Boy, who gets to go first?
Yeah, I was going to say, how do you decide?
The most feminine boy. Because women and children go first, right?
Or maybe they were just like the smallest. And the coach is like, I'll stay back here.
I'll go last.
Just let's see if it works. And this is a day in 2019 that Jeffrey Epstein was charged with sexually abusing dozens of underage girls. And
he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison.
Which would be 1 month or so.
Oh, no.
A medical examiner said his death was a suicide. So, what can you do?
That's just...
Hey, I thought we had 24-hour watch on him. Oh, he just fell asleep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Turned away for a minute. It was
what about,
it was
is
a
there no
low-profile
video?
No, you know what? Someone unplugged it.
You know how much we can... Oh.
Someone unplugged it, so... It's tough.
Today's birthdays include... Groobs is 39.
Hell yeah.
Whoa.
Former Texas Ranger employee. Dallas Stars employee. Current, is he still with the Freak in Dallas?
I believe so.
Is he running the Ben and Skin show?
I believe so.
Wang Zhuzhu is 47.
Dan.
I have his jersey. It's the only Mavs jersey I have, actually.
What is Wang doing?
Former star Rich Peverly is 42.
Heart attack.
He died.
He came back.
He did come back.
Former Cowboy Matt McBriar is 45.
Punter?
Mm-hmm.
Jack Lambert is 72. Who's that, Blake?
Steelers linebacker.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
It would not have had that on the board.
Why do you know that?
Steel curtain. I don't know.
Joe Green is a big UNT guy.
That's true.
Have you met me, Joe Green?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he came on a couple away game trips.
Ugh.
I bet he did. Was he nice or was he actually mean?
No, really cool. Really nice.
Really cool, Joe Green.
Very. Yeah. Very surprised he talked to me. Yeah.
Doesn't really have the ring to it, though, Dan.
Actor Jeffrey Tambor is 80.
I may have done some light treason.
You heard him in today's Open?
I think he got rang up pretty hard on the Me Too stuff.
That wasn't Artie? That wasn't Rip Torn? From the Larry Sanders Show? It was Jeffrey Tambor?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jeffrey Tambor was on an FX or Hulu show, right? Does anybody want to help me with this?
Oh, yeah. I now remember.
And I think he had some...
Look.
The times had changed.
He's
and
80.
He had not. Yeah.
Don't you have to have some kind of an age where you just kind of like...
Statute of limitations on...
Where you just kind of... Like, if your grandpa is really racist, you're like,
Yeah.
That's grandpa.
Yeah. Probably. Are you, like, sort of pre-laying groundwork for yourself here?
No, I think I'm well under that. I don't think I'll make it. Wolfgang Puck is 75.
Food?
Celebrity chef. Kevin Bacon is 66.
Honestly, criminally underrated.
Just because he's known for the bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think people just think of him as a bit, but I think he's a really, really good actor.
Hot.
Hot?
You think Kevin Bacon's hot?
I think she's right. He's in Tremors.
He's great in Tremors.
Toby Keith is 63.
No, he's
Yeah,
not.
He's pretty dead.
Oh, is he really?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Make a note. Ty, like that one? Dan marks that one off the list.
Not hot.
He wasn't?
Did you ever hear his Chris Christopherson story?
Great.
You have?
Yes. It's amazing.
Let me see if I can pull it up. Do Do you think it's worth telling, Ty?
Yes. I think you're either a Chris Christopherson person or a Toby Keith person.
So they were playing like a birthday party together, Dan. And let's see. Toby Keith says to Christopherson, "I don't want any of that lefty shit out there tonight." Christopherson says, "What the fuck did you just say to me?" He says, "You heard me." Christopherson says, "Don't you turn your back to me, boy." Toby Keith turns around. "I don't want any problems, Chris. I just want you to tone it down." Christopherson, who had been in the military, said, "You ever worn your country's uniform?" Toby Keith said, "What?" Christopherson says, "Don't what me, boy. You heard the question. You just don't like the answer." He paused just long enough to get a full chest of air. I asked, "Have you ever served your country?" The answer is no, you have not. "Have you ever killed another man? Have you ever taken another man's life and then cashed the check your country gave you for doing it?" "No, you have not, so shut the fuck up." So you have, like, actual guy who has been in war and killed people, but he's, like, left-leaning, and then, like, the boot-in-your-ass guy.
Yeah.
Who's, like, right-leaning, but...
That's a good trump card to play.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I've killed somebody for this.
And it's probably because, like, he was drafted. He didn't have
yeah,
anything
he
to
didn't
do with
sign
it,
up,
but you get to play it for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And if you want to be booting-your-ass guy and you haven't, then you probably should be careful who you boss around.
You going to read the punchline?
Go ahead.
Christopherson then looked at, I'm guessing, the narrator of this article. He says, "You know what Waylon Jennings said about guys like him?" He said, "They're doing to country music what pantyhose did to finger fucking."
That is the punchline. Yes. I did leave that part out.
Janice Pennington is 81. She was, speaking of a different time, she was one of Barker's beauties on The Price is Right. And she,
when did they do away with that?
She got in Playboy.
Oh, really?
I don't know. But certainly that's a victim of the Me Too era, right? They're sitting around with their ticket chicks and...
I don't remember it even being...
Girl. Do you still have Bud Light girls going out to bars when you go to bar and just some hot walking around trying to give you a sample of something?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, yeah.
Now it's energy drinks.
Actor Maya Hawke is 26.
Hawke.
Ethan Hawke's daughter. You know her from Stranger Things, Season 3, of course.
Smoke Monster.
Beck is 54.
Again, very underrated.
And actor Billy Crudup is 56.
Why do I know that name?
You probably know him at first from Almost Famous. But
really?
You know him he's much more important, impactful, I think, from the Apple television program, The Morning Show.
Oh, my God.
With Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon. Was he actually just in love with Reese? That was a tough one, huh?
Yeah, of course. Great character.
He's fantastic. Born on this day now dead, John David Crow. He won the Heisman. He was an Aggie. And he was a Browns coach at one point. Roone Arledge, who invented Monday Night Football, and...
How do you invent that?
Let's play on
Monday Night Football didn't exist before Roone Arledge said, "Hey, let's put a game on Monday night."
Let's play on Monday.
Okay. I guess.
Look it up. Alfred Swearingen, born on this day. He was known for running a notorious brothel called the Gem Theater in Deadwood, South Dakota.
I honestly never thought that his name was Alfred.
Yeah.
That's a really... I feel like I'm making today the day of underrated. That's a great show.
It's a great show.
It looks kind of weird when you go back and watch it now. Like, the cinematography is a little bit lacking, but story-wise, it's great.
Died on this day. We have Pete Conrad. Died on this day in 1999. He was the third
Something
man
with the moon
to walk on the moon. Just feel like you should know it. There's only been like a dozen.
Okay.
And we should know their names.
Awesome.
Wait, what was the space thing we had earlier today?
Space Force.
Yeah, Space Force. Big theme today.
Mm-hmm.
Rosie Ruiz, who cheated and won the Boston Marathon in 1980. Ken Stabler.
Davey.
And died on this day in 2022, Tony Sirico.
Ravens.
He was Paulie Walnuts.
Thank you, Blake. And thank you, Ty.
On The Sopranos. The great Paulie Walnuts.
We should do a full rewatch.
I've been thinking about it.
I know. That's such a mountain to climb, new.
I know, but it gives you something to do. I'm almost completely caught up on The Bear.
They're an hour each. I thought about doing the rewatch and then listening to Christopher's
podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have that
they're doing it.
amount of juice in me, but
And that
plus,
was
like with the
today
WNBA
in
picking up right now.
history.
It's really funny, man. Just online discourse about the WNBA exists all the time now, and it's.
Are you happy to not have to pay attention to that anymore since you're not a lesbian?
That's it for Sode 3 of the Dumb Zone Weekly Wrap-Up thing. Hope you're enjoying it. We may have a weird schedule next week. Business Wednesday may turn into Business Friday, or we may record Wednesday and release Thursday, record Thursday and release Friday. Do you care? Does it matter? Do you feel tricked if it's recorded the day before? Would having a show on Wednesday and not Friday turn your life into a tailspin? We'll figure all of this out next week. But a couple big guests next week to look forward to with Charles Haley and Brandon Aubrey. Stay tuned to our social media and Patreon updates as we may live stream a time or two next week. Not sure yet. We'll have our stuff figured out one of these days. But until then, just put up with us. 3 days until I can play NCAA. Stay strong, bros. Also, hit me up if you're going to Bluey Day at the Rough Riders game on Sunday. Brooks and I will be out there. Until then, we'll talk soon.